And flip around. Oh shit, there he is.
Okay.
Try to get as close as possible. Pretty good though. Looking good, kid.
How tight is it?
Yo, you look like a rock star, bro.
Right.
Anyone ever tell you look like Brad Pitt? Val Kilmer?
I'll take it. I'll take both of those.
Kurt Russell?
Yeah.
Anyone ever tell you look
Yeah,
like
keep them
Swayze?
coming. Keep them coming. Ryan Gosling.
Anyone ever say you look like Mickey Rourke? Just kidding.
That one would be kind of a bummer.
Oh, people. Hello. We're live.
What's up?
We are back. How many episodes is this with you? 3?
I think this is 3, maybe 4. Definitely
Possibly.
3.
I'm gonna have to go back and look now.
3 for sure.
Well, fucking. Thanks for being back.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Do you remember how we met originally? It's been a couple years now.
I think I went to New England AM 4 years ago.
Nice.
Just as like an attendee, I was just like, oh, it's sick. There's a new event. I'm going to go check it out. It was your first year, so maybe even 5.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah, so I went 5 years ago, and then I don't know if, honestly, I don't know if I reached out or if, I can't even remember, but I know I went to that one, and then I was like, hey, Shetler, like, by the way, I do events, you do events, do you need any help? Like, can we work together? And then also, I run Central Mass Skate Festival, you should be there. So I can't even remember which came first, but then you came to Central Mass, I went to New England AM, we worked together on both of them.
I feel like Conrad. He always links me with people.
Conrad,
possibly.
likely suspect, definitely. Definitely a likely suspect. Conrad Furla. Conrad Waves. He has a way of connecting people.
Conrad ate your cookies.
Yes,
Do you want to
he
see
did.
him?
So yeah, I think it's sort of a blur at this point since it's 4 or 5 years ago, but got to see your event, was stoked on it, thought it was sort of the same goal of like including a lot of people, not, you had a really cool shop tie-in, and like as a sales rep, relying on brick and mortar skate shops and like believing in them the way that you kind of encourage shop teams to participate.
Yeah, man.
Instead of just like only shining a spotlight on the individuals. I thought that was really cool. And then, but yeah, kind of went from there. You came to CenMass and helped out with like judging and announcing for the mini ramp jam, and I came and helped with the back end registration, judge criteria, like scoring, all that stuff for New England AM, and
you definitely helped organize it and keep it running smooth. I mean, we had it going, but you definitely brought a level of professionalism that was welcomed.
Yeah, no, I mean that's sort of the.
Thank you.
That's for sure. It was a pleasure. It's like it's such a rad event, and I know at this point, like, I know the back end stuff down pat. So if I can show up and just like bring my audio equipment or just my laptop and my mobile printer and like a knowledge of how to run the spreadsheets and whatever, then like I think it's valuable, and I know for me it took a really long time to learn all that stuff. So might as well share that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it.
For sure.
And ever since we met, I feel like we've just been friends.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It was easy to be friends, bro.
Yeah.
And we've been going to each other's events.
I know. That's the best part. I think
sick.
I love that. Like any friend who hosts an event, I try to go to their event just because it's like I know how hard it is to host events. It's a challenge. I mean, it's a ton of work, and at the end of the day, you might lose money, and it's like really stressful, and you lose a lot of sleep, but it's like so rewarding if it goes well. So I feel like the least I can do is support other event organizers, because there's very few.
Yeah, and that's totally true about events. Like I've done a lot of events in my days, but like every single one is always so nerve-wracking before. Once you're in it and things are going, you're like lost in it, and it's fine, Yeah. But leading up to it, even in the very beginning, you're just like, oh, this could just go to shit real fast, And
you spend so long preparing too, and it's like one little thing, some stupid thing could happen.
Yeah.
For my event, like someone could pull out of a driveway because the staff member was, like peeing in the woods or whatever.
Well,
like,
yours has a lot more variables than ours, because ours is indoor and it's a skate park.
But I mean, even with yours, indoors and way more controlled. I'm kind of jealous of how controlled of a setting it is, like a skate park where everything's already there.
Yeah.
But like last year, I forget who it was.
Oh, it was Sean Egan.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Like broke his arm like first run.
Dude,
like
homie, there was a dude there. I don't know his name. But he was a little spracky. He was nice enough, but a little spracky. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, I could tell just from like talking to him, I was like, this dude's a little like, I don't know what's up with
rough
this guy.
around the edges.
Yeah, like he's a wild card, Turns out.
Keep your eye on it.
Yeah, keep your eye on it. Turns out he crashed into Sean. Like he dropped in, Sean was going up quarter pipe, boom, meet in the middle, like
Yeah.
brutal. That was
No,
that was.
dude, and it was like I went over. I was like, oh, what's the deal? Is he okay? And his arm was like going out at a 45-degree angle. I was like, not okay. He's not okay.
In his face, he like broke his nose, I think.
Yeah.
Sean's good now though.
That's good.
He's tough as hell apparently.
Tough as nails.
Yeah. So, that was at the very beginning of the New England Am. So the ice just froze over the whole event, and
And
like
we were all like paramedics.
should we just pack it all
Yeah.
up? Everyone go home. It's over.
Dude, it's rough. I mean, we had like
We survived.
you can have such safe like protocol too, and I ran called Gravity Fest, this skate event in Central New York, and like tons of staff, really dialed road protocol. I had this whole like handbook that everyone's got in their breast pocket, and like super dialed, best like radio communication that we've ever had. For practice, it was all chill, and then next thing you know, a little spy. These just showed up today. These are
Mike gave us some koozies. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, we got some nice koozies. That's why I'm burping a little bit.
Little road sodas.
Spy Optic, shout out.
Choo-choo-choo-choo.
They hooked up a bunch of koozies and swag, and they'll be giving away a lot of sunglasses at the event. But so we had everything like perfect. Practice was sweet. The first few heats that dropped in, it was like smooth, and then literally first round of practice, midway through, first corner, two of the best racers in the world. This one dude from Alabama and one dude from the Philippines, like tangled up. The guy from the Philippines board crashed into the other dude through his leathers, which are like super thick, like cowhide leathers.
Yeah, like how's it going through that?
And it blasted into his leg, didn't puncture the leathers, but literally blasted a hole in his leg, like from how much impact there was.
Brutal.
So it was like red flag on the radio, which means like shut the whole race course down. No one's allowed to drop in. No one's allowed to keep skating.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh
Nightmare.
my god, I've spent so much time getting this ready. What happened? Like, hopefully it wasn't my fault somehow. Hopefully there wasn't like some terrible hazard that we forgot to put hay bales in front of. So I was like bummed and freaking out a little bit, and then sort of sized it up. I was like, do you guys need the ambulance? They're like, yes. No hesitation. I was like, fuck. Like, God, this is bad.
That's always a nightmare.
Yeah. So literally first practice runs, kind of like you had, it's like things are just getting started. You're like, the pressure's starting to lift, and then it's like, we got to call the ambulance. Like, this dude's got to go to the hospital.
All of a sudden you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Someone's bleeding.
Yeah. I've got some gnarly photos, dude. It looks like someone shot him in the leg. It looks like a bullet wound.
Brutal.
And the blood went all the way down his leathers into his shoes. It was like, I got some pretty metal photos of his shoes where they're just like, he's got his little timing transponder Velcro to him, which I was like, respect. You're not going to get charged the $80 for losing that.
Yeah.
But it's just these blood splattered. Blood splattered white skate shoes. It was pretty hardcore.
All right, real quick, because we got YouTube Live, so I just want to give some quick shout outs here.
Sure.
Amstein Skater says, "What up? I did my first hard flip today.
Hell yeah.
Good stuff. I
That's
remember
a hard
my
trick.
first one. Yeah.
I've never landed one.
Roughs on skateboard. What day are you going to be there? And I'd like to come down and chill. Oh, he's actually talking about your event. So
Yeah.
maybe you should plug the dates for the event.
So I guess that's the main topic. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but this August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is the 10th annual last ever Central Mass Skate Festival. I started that event the summer after my freshman year at college, and this is the decade mark. It's also the last one. There's a lot of reasons why. Basically, it's like out of the events I run, it's by far the most complex and expensive to run. There's a ton of ramps. Like we had to build a whole skate park, repair all the ramps.
You have to you block off a whole parking lot and then a whole hill in a small town in Harvard.
Dude, we closed 3 different roads in Harvard. We have a ton of hay bales, which I actually made my own hay bales for 4 years. We've got all these ramps which I own, and we have to get out of the different barns and assemble. Mini ramp, massive, 24-foot wide, 3 to 4 foot mini ramp with top decks and everything, and then the big air ramp and all that, which goes on the slide jam hill. So, long story short, it's a ton of effort and a ton of budget, and it lost some money last year. But I didn't want to just have it die quietly. It's like that would be like putting your dog down, because it got liver cancer, and you're like, all right, later, bro.
Yeah. My mom was like, it's in Maine at someone's house. It's living a great life. Dead.
Find out
dead.
A week later, gone. Yeah. So I didn't want that. I didn't want the sad dead dog. I was like, no, I don't care that I lost money. This is the most important thing I've done in my life. Literally, this is my biggest life project.
I can relate.
I want to go out on a high note. So this August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, Central Mass Skate Festival, 10th annual. Cheers.
Dude, 10 years.
Pour one out.
Yeah,
Sorry. It's your carpet. Don't do that.
10 years is no
10
joke.
years.
In a seriousness, people talk about doing events, and a lot of people never even do events.
Yeah.
So then some people do them, and it's 1, 2, 3 years gone. Dude, 10 years.
Most events are flash in the pan. It's taken some moral, it's like some gut fortitude to kind of stick with it. But the general format is Friday, August 2nd is your mini ramp and street course day.
That's when I'll be there with the All I Need crew and World Dude.
So their whole crew will be there Friday. Shout out to All I Need. Their whole crew shows up and just puts on a clinic. There's also some super heavy rippers. Dan Carrero's coming up from New York. He shreds.
Dan
Modern puts on an absolute, like, every type of blunt flip trick, just like so dialed.
And the Young Bucks came out too, because the ramp has multiple
Jensen.
sizes. Yeah, and even younger.
He's
like
a ripper.
Jensen's like 16, 17, but I even seen some girls, some little boys in there. They were shredding the little 3-foot side, crushing.
Dude, it's awesome. So the mini ramp is 24 feet wide. Half of it is 3 foot tall. The other half is 4 feet tall. There's slightly different transitions, like the ramp transition, but you can transfer between the two if you're able to. But what happens is, like, during the practice, so from 11 a.m. until say 1:30, when we're just kind of like loosey-goosey warming up, a lot of times you'll have the more beginners, the people who are just starting out or super young kids on the 3 foot side, like skating peacefully, not getting smashed into by big burly dudes. Like,
that's usually when I snake.
Ace Bizarro.
Yeah, that's usually when I snake in and try to film a little bit for the vlog, because people are warming up, having fun, going for some tricks. It's not too heavy.
Totally.
I'll end up filming the heavy stuff from a distance, but I'll get in the mix on the warm up stuff.
Right. And then the people who want to go a little bigger can go on the 4 foot, and then once it kind of like people get the hang of it, you got people switching side to side between both sides, no problem. So I like the ramp for that. That shout out to Narbear for making a sweet ramp.
Hell yeah.
It was sort of we I was renting a ramp for years before that from Waterville Valley.
Yeah.
But then they canceled their skate program.
Which is fucking tragic, because I love that place, and I went to it a couple times. Ralph Murphy, shout out, and like so beautiful on that mountain. Yeah.
So bummer, Luke Matheson, who was running that and the whole Waterville snowboard park, that all dissolved. So all of a sudden this ramp that I had been, it was like $2,500 a year to rent, but it was worth it, because literally they show up, they set it up in an hour and a half, we skate it, they take it away at the end of the day. I don't have to deal with anything else. It's like turnkey.
Yeah.
People are like, you could build your own ramp for $2,500, and I'm like, it would be a bad ramp.
Yeah.
That would be a shitty ramp.
And it rains and snows.
And like, where am I going to keep it?
Yeah.
And when am I going to build it?
Raccoons are going to build a home in it. Like,
totally.
Over the winter. Like.
So that was sweet and convenient and so smooth. But then that faded away, and then I just reached out to Narbear, who had been just messaged me being like, hey, if you need any ramps, like we do some ramp building. Friendly Gathering Music Festival, which some of the Burton dudes, Danny Davis and Luke, what's his last name? There's these two brothers. I'm blanking hard right now.
Luke McGee. Let's say McGee.
Let's say Luke McGee. Not Luke McGee, but I'll think of his name soon. They had the sweet music festival. They also needed a ramp, so the McGee Festival, Friendly McGee Festival.
Sorry.
So we came together. The two of us kind of co-funded the creation of this ramp. We kind of agreed upon like what we wanted. Danny Davis actually had the idea of having the two different transitions to kind of like cater to more people.
Solid idea.
We decided to surface it with ramp armor, which is basically skate light, just so that it would actually like skate really well and be durable and not just like get all jacked up and have to
transitions are really fun.
Totally.
Super quick, fun, like perfect size.
Not too abrupt, because some minis are just like so steep. It's like it's super hard to skate well.
Gets hectic.
Yeah. So it's meant to be mellow but shreddable. So anyways, we co-funded it. And then afterwards, Narbear was like, by the way, this ramp's sitting behind my barn getting rained on. I don't have anything to do with it. Do you want to buy it? And I was like counting my money. I was like, sure, I guess so. Like, I don't know if I can afford this, but if I use it more than twice, it'll be worth it. So yeah, now it's in a barn in Harvard and ready to get dragged out. Hopefully nothing got too fucked up over the winter. And we'll skate it one last time, and then I've got two different people who are looking to buy it afterwards.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
because that thing's sweet.
It's so sweet. I'm like, it pains me to have it in a barn for 362 days out of the year.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, so hopefully I got two different friends who are looking at buying that, potentially gonna buy all the ramps and build like a sort of like temporary indoor skate park, Boston area. So fingers crossed. No details yet to share because I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah. Let's take a quick little break. Go back to the YouTube. Say what's up to these people. Amstein Skater says I'll probably get your pro model board next. Hey, my dude.
Which one is that? Good call.
Way to support the All I Need
Yeah.
movement, my G.
He has some inventory in stock.
Yeah, we just actually, Evan Mansalillo came over today, moved about 20, 30 boxes of skateboards and put them in behind us and counted inventory. He was here for a good 2-3 hours handling that BI. So
like
that
this
was
one.
cool. Yeah,
It's
we
a
got
personal favorite.
some World Industries and we got All I Need behind us.
I might have to get that one time. Where's your pro model at?
Pro models, there's one right there, the hobo, and then yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
This is actually my hobo series, so that's if I was a hobo,
Yes.
and I'd be making stew with the squirrel and turtles, and I got a little cauldron down there, little corn pipe right
I
there.
love it.
Yeah, Peter.
This is PJG on cardboard, right?
Yeah. That's a cardboard backdrop.
Pretty sick.
Kind of looks like you're skating a cardboard skateboard, Jake. The other pro model I got right now, I think there's only one left. It's my mic one,
Ooh.
but it's buried in there right
So if
now.
I buy it tonight, it'll be sold out.
Yeah. Do you want to see my unofficial pro model?
Yeah.
It's not my pro model, but it might as well be.
I want to see it.
People
I
tell
love
me I look like Nicolas Cage.
You do. Can you make that face?
Yeah,
There you go.
Is that
Perfect.
Lee?
Yeah, that's good. You just need long hair.
yeah. If I grow out the faded glory, because it doesn't grow this way, it grows that way.
That's why I have a hat on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would look just like that.
Yeah.
So,
I believe it.
but hell yeah! Shout out to Amstein Skater.
Thanks for
Definitely.
supporting the All I Need scene and family.
Yeah, if you cop a board or some apparel from us, that money goes directly back into the skateboard community, whether it be the New England Am or it keeps this podcast rolling. You see if you watch the YouTube channel, you see what we do. We go on trips and we're turning people pro and we're creating artwork and working with skateboarders. We got our first issue of our magazine out, working on issue 2 already. So, yeah, you support the movement, that helps, and that's epic, man. So,
Basically, if you buy
shout
a
out.
board, it makes sure that all their team riders can come to Central Mass Skate Festival.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it keeps skateboarding in the hands of skateboarding because there's a lot of brands out there that are not skater owned because it's really fucking hard to turn a profit with a skater owned company, especially when your competition is, say, a footwear brand that sponsors someone and they're start a brand and you're just like up against that. It's
Yeah.
like, or some.
How do you sponsor someone when their competing offers like $10K a month? You're like,
Yeah,
No.
so.
I don't.
Yeah, so this is completely independent and skater owned, skater run, and you can tell by what we put out, you know. So,
Totally.
and your support means the world to us.
Totally.
So, thank you.
And one quick thing, just
Please.
since I totally sidebarred myself.
Go ahead.
The redacted version without any backstory and sidebars. Friday, mini ramp jam, street course.
Oh yeah.
Saturday, we keep those same ramps set up for free skate. It's not free, you still got to register, but it's cheap. But the main focus is the downhill race, which is heats of 6, top 3 advanced elimination style. But you can skate the mini and the street course for fun all day Saturday. Sunday is a slide jam. So most of the ramps from the street course plus this massive tabletop big air ramp are set up down a hill. So imagine a downhill skate park. I would love for you guys to come at the end of the day if you can swing it.
Which day is this?
This is on Sunday the 4th, and it's like end of the day is when we do big air, which is I call it the carcass toss because it's just people. We take the ramp and we spread the landing and the launch ramp farther and farther and farther apart until it's just like the last
Danger
few
zone.
people hucking it down like a meat tunnel of spectators.
Yeah, that's
It's-
amazing.
It's like watching in those golf like tee shots of the pros when there's like 1,000 people. And
Yeah.
you're like, dude, if that was me, I would be smashing someone in the face.
Except
with a golf ball.
the golfer is throwing his body instead of the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's an actual
It's a
professional,
little
whereas this is
extreme.
like a little more ragtag. But
Yeah,
but the people who make it to finals are genuinely good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole schedule. If you go to skatecentralma.com/schedule, it's like the full down to the hour, down to the half hour. Skatecentralma.com is the whole website. There's a drop-down menu in the top left, and it's like super thorough. Harry Hubble's been helping me with that site forever, and I try to have it be like, I started making it a good website once I got tired of answering people's questions. I was like, wait,
Oh yeah.
I can make a website.
Yeah.
And then whenever someone asks the same question, I just send them a
There.
link.
Yep.
So it's been
And
great.
I'll make sure Mike writes down all the links and we'll
Yes.
include them in the description so you can just go below this video, click the link, check it all out.
Yes.
Mr. Perry Vlog says, yeah, Gravity Fest, my G.
What's up, Robert?
He didn't say it quite like that, but you get the point.
He's a homie. He just joined. He was coming to SEMAS for years and years, and then he just joined the staff for the first time ever at Gravity Fest.
Nice.
Him and his buddy Chad Scholes, and the two of them killed it. And then they were like, "Wait, we really like this. Can we also work at Killington?" I was like, "Absolutely."
Nice.
And then
It's good to
SEMAS,
find people that are reliable and helpful. Yeah.
and it's cool because like they were just registered riders. I knew them just from the racing. And also, Rob would always submit an entry for the video editing contest, which was like an open source. We have a super talented media team. We put the videos all up in the cloud, and
You do a great job with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying
That's
to
gonna
make
happen
it.
this year.
Yeah, we'll do it again for sure.
So basically, people can take all the footage that people film and upload,
Yes.
and they have an editing contest to see who can
Right.
chop it up.
So we have some like Matt Frazier has been my main media video partner for a few years. Wes Eldridge has been shooting SEMAS since like day one, and he has some crazy high frame rate cameras. We've got this kid Jaden Lawler who's like went to film school and is extremely talented. And then we'll have a couple other people shooting. So, and probably Rob Perry too. So we take.
Who's the homie? Sorry to interrupt, but who's the homie out there with that big ass
That's
camera?
Matt Frazier.
Dude,
he's got some gear.
he almost smoked me last year on the street course. Because also on Friday there'll be a mini ramp, but also like random stuff set up.
It's
for
like
a
an
street
old
course.
school skate jam where there's like ramps in a parking lot, but
It's
like
fun
we've
as
got
hell.
it's super
Sketchy
fun.
pole jam. You're in.
Sketchy pole jam.
He comes
on
flying by with this camera contraption that's like huge and like, dude, almost smoked me twice.
And he's like ripping on his boosted board so we can get
Yeah.
like smooth dolly shots.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
fast, dude.
Yeah. So
Angles.
we've got like a really awesome, talented media team. We take all their footage, we kind of trim it down so it's just the good stuff. We folderize it so it's like you go in and there's every video guy is like identified by name, and then it's by day, and then it's identified by camera. So it's easy to kind of sift through. You're still going to spend a ton of time like watching, pre-screening, and downloading the footage.
But if you're into it,
It's great.
Yeah.
If you didn't go to the event, like this is the crazy thing. Half the people who have won or podiumed the editing contest have never been to the event.
wow,
But they just get like super immersed in it. So it's a way to make people who can't go still be involved. So we've got these people like this girl May Manning. There's some people who did the editing contest for years before they actually came. There's this guy Wayne Art from Spain. And they just put together sick videos, and they're like, "Man, I feel like I was at the event." Like, I was like, "They're like, I don't even need to go." It's like, I was like, "No, you should still come." But like, yeah, it's rad. So,
I know that feeling because
Yeah.
like I film a lot of the skate sessions these days, like because I'm around so many talented skaters, and I'm like, someone has to film,
Totally.
you know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I come
And no
back.
one's gonna do it if it's not you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I film the whole fucking session, the whole
Right.
thing, and I'll come back and I'll like edit it, and I'm watching every clip going through second by second by second,
Totally.
and it's like. It's so submersive nowadays with
Totally.
it. You watch it and you're like, the memories are like from reel to video.
It's like you almost
like,
don't remember it in person, but then it gets seared into your brain when you see it in the footage.
And you get like multiple perspectives because in person you saw it, but then you're watching it on your camera,
Right.
and it's just like so. It's 360 degrees
Totally, yeah.
almost, and some aspects of it.
And then the cool thing is, so say you've got 5 different cameras to to pick footage from, then you've got like so many different angles. We have drone footage, we have high frame rate, ultra slow mo, we have like the dolly follow shots. We've got
That sounds so sick if someone's
Yeah.
into editing and
Yeah,
really
dude,
wants
it's
some
like-
skate footage to mess with.
And it's all free. Like we put it up in a box folder. Anyone can download it for free, and then we get our sponsors to pitch in prizes, and I throw in money just because I'm like, this helps me create more media, so it's good for me.
Yeah.
And it's good. So at the end of it, like last year we had like 10 entries, and I swear like 9 of them were really good.
Yeah.
And the other one was still fine, but it was like there were 9 such good videos, and I was like, oh god, this is gonna be hard. And the I think 5 finalists that we picked
Nice.
were unreal.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh man, this is hard for us because we usually do like a judged category and then a public category, which is voted on by the general public.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So whoever gets the most likes on their video, we re-upload all of the final videos to the Central Mass Skate Festival Facebook page, and then basically whoever gets the most likes wins the popular contest.
The Donald Trump one.
Yes. And then we have our own electoral college
Oh.
where we vote privately and fuck the public and just make our own choices.
Son of a.
So usually there's two different results, and we've got prizes laid out for each of them. This year we had already decided our results just before we even picked, like when we picked finalists, but it ended up matching perfectly with the popular.
Oh, double win.
So the winners got like hooked up.
Double.
Yeah, double. Yeah, triple double.
Good for them.
Yeah. So if you want to see those videos, skatecentralma.com/editing contest. Those are still all up there from last year. It's got all 5 or 6 finalists, and they're bangers. And Robert Perry is the reason I brought this all up. Robert Perry put together like a 9.5-minute video. So at first I was like, "Ooh, this is long," and man, it is so good. It's like sick transitions. Like each day gets its own 3-minute mini edit, so it's tight.
I honestly think like if something good is good, it doesn't matter the time limit.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays with the capability, like on a podcast, you can stop it and come back and save your spot. Same with YouTube. Totally. So it's like, and people consume content they like. So like I'll listen to a podcast or watch a video, and if I can't finish it because I got to go do some work or something, I come right back to it. Yeah. Because there's not like there's a lot of content these days, but there's not that much good stuff. There's so much because everyone's available to put it all up there. Totally. But when you find something that's like really pulls you in, so then it's like it doesn't even matter like how long it is.
You got to do trash. You should sift through the trash and then you find what you like and you can dive into it for hours at a time. And it's weird because when I was making YouTube videos, it was like it had to be short or else no one would watch it start to finish. Whereas now, the algorithms are like Facebook. If you upload a under 3-minute video, it's like, by the way, if it's more than 3 minutes, it does better. We'll promote it more. I'm like, really? Like it's almost promoting long form content because people are watching so much media on their phones.
Yeah,
they get locked in, and if there's good video after good recommended video, and your video is recommended because people like it and engage with it, you can be on your phone for an hour, dude. I've been like taking a dump like on my phone. I'm like, I'm just gonna. Sorry, this is too much detail.
Too much.
Just like
I get it,
but you know what I mean? It's like
take a shit,
it's like you have your phone with you all the time, like anywhere you go. And
wash
it's like,
your hands.
It's like wash your hands first and after. But like grocery store, anywhere, like I'm looking at my phone, and then you're like that video is cool. Auto plays the next one. You're like that video is cool. 30 minutes later, you're like, what am I doing?
I wake up in the morning and I find stuff I like, and it's about half an hour, 2 hours, and I'm watching shit. Tunnel rabbit.
Totally.
Nice.
You just go in the wormhole. No matter whether you're in the bathroom
or elsewhere. The thing with YouTube is like, you basically become an employee for Google. Mm-hmm. So you got to build a channel, and so you got to build up a huge catalog of stuff. And along that way, while you're building it up, you're figuring out what your audience wants. And every audience is different depending on what you're aiming at with your channel. You know, like some channels are like stunt ones where it's like. You know, that's what they do, and it attracts.
Yeah, you got to kind of keep it narrow.
Yeah, the truth is, it doesn't really matter what you do, but whatever you do, just make sure you enjoy it. So, like, if you're filming something, because a lot of people are like, I just want to get rich and famous off of doing this, and it's like, yeah, everybody does. Right. And it's not sustainable.
Here's my new product plug.
Yeah.
They paid me $12 per click.
Yeah, what's sustainable is if you create content that you're engaged with, that you give a shit about, and it shows through the editing and through the video and like it, you got to really care about something to make it last for a long time, you know, because like you could get into it and just chase those views and all that stuff, you know, and you watch the money or whatever, it goes up and down. It's like it'll drive you crazy and you'll just quit. What I learned through doing any type of content is just to do stuff that I enjoy, that I love. That way it's like I'm excited to do it. Like the YouTube videos, I love doing them, and I keep it simple.
And you can tell, and that's why I think it's like a good program, because if you watch it, you're like, I don't feel like this guy feels forced to put out content for his sponsors. It's like he just wants to do this.
Exactly, because anything can become a job, dude. And the last thing I want is another job. I want the shit to be fun. Like the podcast for me, fuck a job. I want it to be fun, because if we're gonna get paid to do something, let's get paid to have fun.
Look, if I wanted to get paid more money and not have fun, I could just like work in finance.
Exactly.
I made the choice, and I have to remind myself sometimes. It's like I'll work long hours getting ready for the events and doing my sales rep stuff, and it's somewhat seasonal, and I get to travel, so it's like it works out. But I gotta remind myself, it's like I should like take a break today and like go skate or go ride my bike or do something, because it's like I chose the fun path, so let's keep it fun. And then, dude, it helped me a lot. Like I used to stress about my social media like content stuff so much more, and then I was like, man, this is a grind. And like once they made Instagram non-chronological, I was like, whatever, I can't figure out the algorithm. I'm just gonna post what I want to and like not stress about it. And like I don't care how many likes it gets. Like if I want to post a stupid photo of a cat, I will, even if Mark Zuckerberg really wants me to keep posting the exact same kind of product photos and like skate content.
I'll be Mark. Keep going, Mike.
Yeah,
keep going.
Keep doing it.
Keep going, Mike.
fuck off with the cats. We need more skateboards. I'm like,
Why would you post a
yeah,
cat?
you know what your following wants. I'm like, Mark, dude, get off my back. I want to post this. Like,
Don't indict me.
yeah, like I want to post a sunset. Is that wrong of me? Like I'm gardening right now. I want to show you guys my zucchinis. So
Yeah.
like, does that make me a bad guy? So yeah, that's
Well, it's just the only reason I say all that is because it can become a trap, you know.
Totally,
Like, and
totally.
the last thing you want is a trap.
a
Man.
thirst trap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, do it because, like, for me, I look at all this stuff as like collecting memories.
Totally.
Like this, I can go back and like
Oh yeah.
listen to.
Dude,
Like,
I love that. Going through, like, I kind of, Matt Boozer actually posted an Instagram story with one, you can ask, like, poll questions.
Yes.
And he was like, are you going to Send Mass? Yes or no? Like, it was super basic. And I was like, dude, I totally forgot that this is, like, I've spent years building up the Central Mass Skate Festival Instagram page and Facebook page. And I'm like, just been so busy with other stuff. I forgot that was even a capability. And I was like, oh, I should ask some questions. So just yesterday, I spent probably way too much time, but like, people would be like, I was like, who do you think's going to win the race? And people would say this guy or that guy. And I would go through like Central Mass 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, like going through the archives, just finding photos of these people or like memories and like cool stuff to share. And I was like, God, I'm so glad we filmed all this.
yeah.
And
That's rad,
even if
dude.
it felt like a chore at the time to like perfectly organize it all for the video contest, like I'm so happy now because I can go through and be like, I want to see the DJI drone videos from 2016 of Slide Jam Day. It's like, boom.
It's hard. It's also really hard to be ungrateful when you go back and look at all those years of
Oh,
the
yeah.
contest and like you're like, dude, we had such a good fucking
Yeah,
time.
man,
Like
that's-
10 years, you're like, it's hard to be ungrateful. That's what I use
Totally.
the YouTube channel for. I go back and I watch the episodes, and it's just us having fun, skating with the homies, doing what we want to do.
Totally.
And I'm like the other day, I knew the next 2 days was going to be heavy with shit I didn't want to do for the
Right.
skateboard company. It was like, we got to do inventory, we got
Yeah.
to carry boxes, we got to ship shit. I'm like, I watched the vlog of Martha's Vineyard we went on, got super hyped. I'm
that
like,
was tight.
this is why we're doing
Yeah.
it. And then I was like, after that, I went and just grinded all that out and like didn't even feel like work. It was
Yeah.
like I was so excited and motivated to do it because I knew we were going to
Totally.
get another session, another trip.
Yeah.
Like, let me get to some of these
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
ones.
Sorry, we're just having so much fun.
Yeah, my homie Mason, Rough Sawn Skateboards out in New Hampshire, says, I really want to organize an event in Concord, New Hampshire.
Sick.
So many shredders here. Any advice?
Dude, absolutely. So we were just talking about
Hold on,
this.
perfect question for Mike.
Yes. Anthony bought us drinks.
Little
This is a
nippies.
vitamin, I think this is a kombucha shot.
Yeah,
Like
it's good for you.
lemongrass.
Yeah, sure.
Herbal tonic. It's really good for you, actually.
Super good
Yeah.
for you. Don't let Zuckerberg know what that is.
Dude, I bought that at Whole Foods. Yeah, so we were just talking about this right before the podcast came on, and I think back, like at least on the longboard side, I've tried to avoid exclusive terms, and like I branched out 2014, I think, to have Central Mass include every discipline. But
I
basically,
appreciate you for that.
yeah, thank you. It's hard. The ramps are, god damn it, the ramps are so hard. But
It's
just
easy to make fun.
logistically.
It's like from a core skater like me, it's
Yeah.
easy to make fun of shit
I mean,
because it's
you're a
fun
pro-
too. Like,
Still pro street skater, and
Yeah.
I also appreciate that you're like not just like, oh, it's some longboard event. And fortunately, from the get-go, like I had been tight with Eastern Border since day one, so they embraced it from the jump. Like as soon as I added a mini ramp, they sent people there. Tabor and Bub raced the first Send Mass. Like
damn,
they sponsored
that's
it.
legendary.
dude, they loaned us all their ramps when we didn't have our own. Like they produced all the T-shirts for us with their printer, who I still use to this day.
Nice.
So it's been like one of the big missions for me has been to include everybody. It doesn't matter the length of your board, the size of your wheelbase, whether or not you have tails. And fortunately, like it doesn't happen often. I feel like Central Mass is maybe the only time all year where I see longboarders and skateboarders like existing as one cohesive unit. Still with kooky shit like guys wearing skyhook bindings and horns on their helmets, slamming 20 times on the rainbow rail. But we also love that because it's so entertaining. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's just another dude trying to skate. He's having the best time. So who's to say, like, that dude sucks? It's like, no, he's having more fun than all of us.
As
So,
long as they're rolling.
so
Back to
Bring-
advice.
bring it, yes.
Yeah.
There needs to be a rolling. Bringing it back, though. If you, like we were saying, when it was huge and there was, like, a lot of money in the longboard industry and people were getting really dicey with, like, we want exclusive media partnerships and, like, people kept a lot more secrets about how to host events or how to get sponsorships or like my sponsor deck I spent forever building, and it was a really good tool So I was like, man, if I share this, then every other, like when there's a lot of money going around and there's 20 other events vying for the same sponsor dollars, I was like, I'm kind of in competition. This is like having a skate shop across the street. This is like having, 20 competitors all with the exact same target demographic. But now, like, it's shrunk a bit, and I kind of like it because it's weeded out a lot of the Johnny-come-latelys and fucking, like, money chasers who just want to get, like, make a buck.
Yeah.
It's kind of gone back to the core. And now, like, I, as an organizer, I have no qualms. I'll share any information with any hopeful organizer because I'm also tired of people being like, hey, man, I found this cool hill, or, like, there's this cool new park. You should host an event. I'm like, you should host an event. I'll help.
Only do so much.
Like, I'm one guy. I'm just one guy. If I had clones myself, it would be sick.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. But I will gladly share, like, my buddy Jeff just hosted a sick new event, 70-mile-an-hour racetrack in Whitcomb, Florida, Massachusetts. He was like, I want to host an event. We have a whole scene here. I don't know how to do it. Can you help? And I, like, walked him through it, and we spent a lot of time on the phone, and I kind of mentored him through the process, and it was sick. It was, like, a really good event that's gonna be back next year. We're gonna do a joint season pass next year where you can, like, get a discount on both of our events.
So say I'm the utmost beginner at doing events. I've never done one at all. Some practical advice.
Honestly, if you're trying to do it at a skate park, do it at a skate park. Like, if you can avoid getting road closure permits, do that because they're hard and there's just so much that's involved. So
especially if it's like a town that's super small and like you're the chaos.
Oh god, yeah. And they're like they haven't seen anyone who's not like a local resident over 70 years old.
Horns
totally.
And shit,
So people swearing.
Oh,
There's that one old lady who's like, I heard someone say the F-bomb.
They're smoking the grass.
Yeah. My grandkids are here. There's no kind of language to be having. You should wash their mouths out with soap. I'm like, God damn it, lady. I'm like, please be quiet. I'll make sure that they watch their mouths.
Front door.
Shut the front door. And then I got to commentate really, really PG friendly on the mic. But yeah, if you're a most beginner organizer and you want to try to host an event, approach the venue, like find a good venue. Make sure that it's logistically sound. Like make sure if it's an outdoor skate park, you got to know who runs it. If it's a road that you want to close, make sure you know who's in charge of issuing the permit. And then go to that person and say, hey, I want to close this road for an event. Depending on the town, like if it's state park property, they'll probably just say, no, not happening. Sorry.
The bears need their space.
The bears need space. The elk are still breeding, and you can't mess that up. And there's old growth forest, and if you crash into one of those trees...
This is an elk having sex.
Yeah, totally. I've seen it. So
just now.
So basically, figure out who needs to say yes. Like the last thing you want to do, you can host an outlaw event where you just show up and do it.
I was gonna say that.
Like that is totally viable. I just don't advise for it because personally, I'm not willing to have the liability.
Well, you're a rep and you work with a lot of brands, so you don't
totally.
want to like.
And even before I did any of that, like I hosted events before I did any repping.
Yeah.
And I just was like, if I have all these people who saw my YouTube videos who want to know where these hills are, and I invite them all to Harvard, where I live, and where my parents live, and where I work, and where I go to, it's like, if I invite all these people here and I fuck it up, I'm going to blow my own spots, and then I'm going to have nowhere cool to skate in my backyard. And they're like, that sucks. So I was like, I could do it that way, but it would backfire. Or I could do it the right way and get permits. But I have friends who host outlaw series out in California. If they're like some remote road or some kind of like outskirts skate park, just do it. Do it yourself, figure it out. I actually host a couple small community outlaw events in Boston where we basically just like have a session where we go from point A to point B. But like, start there. Like, don't go huge. You don't need, like, there's so much risk. Like,
keep it simple, for sure.
Keep it simple. My first year running SEMMAS, it was one day. It was 45 people. I didn't even know how to make a bracket. It was, like, super grassroots. It's just, like, get the permit, close the road, do what you need to do. So I went to the town hall, talked to the board of selectmen, and was like, how would you issue me a permit? What do I need to show you? And they're like, outstanding, what's the word? Demonstrable support from the residents on the road that you're closing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you need to have insurance that meets these criteria. You need to have an ambulance squad on site. You need to have a police detail. And I was like, ugh, okay. But then I did all those things. I talked to the ambulance squad. I set up a police detail.
Well, that's how you get 10 years out of it.
Yeah. So I was like, I just don't want to blow it. And so you can, even with all those things, you can still run it. I wouldn't say affordably, but like there are other venues that are cheaper. Like you can go to a town that doesn't require you to use expensive ass shuttle buses, and towns that don't charge $90 per hour for their cops, and that don't, you know, require 3 officers per day all day. So like
before all that,
find a
like,
good venue.
Yeah.
Find a good host who wants you there, and then ask them what it would take for them to say yes.
Yeah.
That's
And
the first stop.
Before all that, like one way I started was my friends just built the DIY, which is kind of the renegade you're talking
Totally,
about.
yeah.
And what I did was I was like, you know what? Let's just do a skate jam, post it online. Whoever shows up knows about the DIY. Put out a bucket. If you got change in your car, kick it in. It's for more ramps.
Yeah.
We build the DIY. That's a first skate jam.
Totally.
And that all that takes is 5 to 10 people that want to come have a good time.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good time, film and edit, make it sick,
Totally.
use that edit as promotion for the next one, you know? Like, hey, this is what we did, this was the day, and then you build from there. And then if you want to keep going, then you find you find like a location.
Right.
If you want to go your route, that's like
that's like
You gotta-
honestly, you can backtrack from what I was saying. That was just how I chose to start my event.
yeah.
But like a lot of it's just getting people together to skate, because that's going to be a more special experience. That's getting more people stoked on skating.
But that could also get busted up by the
Totally.
cops and
Totally.
like it could be
like
a
we
shit
just
show.
we just did absolutely. Like
But you start there.
you start there, and then if you don't get kicked out, you're like, oh, maybe we come back here.
We adjust it a little bit.
Like,
know,
and if
add
you
a
do
little
get
bit.
kicked out, you're like, fuck, we won't come back here. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Then you start looking at permits too. You know?
Right. Totally.
Which is how you get 10 years, like I was saying. Because,
Right.
like, 10 years at one spot is
You
amazing.
cannot burn any bridges. You
Yeah.
gotta, like, it's
Play the
taking
game.
so much effort. We gotta play their game.
That's next level because you got the whole town involved.
Yeah.
You might even have, like, news people
Dude,
come
this is
out
like
and,
a upper middle class, like pretty rich, ritzy white people town. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
It's out there.
they give fucks. They
Yeah.
don't not care.
Yeah.
They care a lot. So it's like to stay in their good graces has taken a lot of effort.
It's
But-
amazing what you've done.
But really, like, you don't have to do that. Like we did last week. We used to do this all the time, and I'm like super happy that we're getting back to it. There's a group in Boston called Boston LB, and we just decided like last week we were like, man, we want to go skate some parking garages, because that's like the easiest downhill you have. You've got a parking garage with an elevator and then a slope on the way down. It's like a fun little racetrack that you
fun.
can just go rip.
Yeah.
We were like, let's skate garages, and then someone was like, how about next Monday? And we were like, yeah. And then it was just like, all right, well then I guess like meet Monday 7 p.m. at this park. We'll go from there. And like I think like 12 people showed up, and then we went and had the best time ripping these awesome these found a couple sick garages. Didn't get kicked out. There was one. They're both 7 levels, and one that was just stairs but was such a sick spiral on the way down it didn't matter. The other one had an elevator, and we just had like the sickest time just ripping, and then like went out to bars after. So it's like, if you want to host an event, just do some of that. Like find your community on social media. Honestly, is the easiest way, and just be like, hey, let's all go to the skate park on this day. $5 buy-in. We'll do a game of skate. Winner takes all. Like, just come up with something, and promote it somehow. And then if it goes well, which it probably will, because everyone's desperate for someone else to host something fun for them.
Yeah.
Then
I was gonna say
go
that
from there.
most events go pretty well because people want the event to go well.
Yeah.
What I'd say is like, don't be afraid to do it. That's the hardest part, is overthinking it. Like you said in the beginning, Mike, it's like, just figure out how to get like some prizes to give out for people that apply effort, and it doesn't have to be a lot. Like, you don't have to overthink it and be like, I need all these sponsors.
Yeah.
You literally don't. People just want to have a good day, maybe get someone to film it, find a location, legal, illegal, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
just
I've
do it.
definitely done some DIYs, or I've even done like an internet one that was pretty sick. I'll talk about that in a second. But I would say don't overthink it. Make a flyer, which is simple. You can literally do a pen, piece of paper. It can be sketchy art.
Take
The
a photo.
sketchier, the
Like,
better.
take a photo
Yeah.
of someone skating and like stylize it and like add some words. Our flyers back in the day were basically like tattoo sketches.
Yeah,
That's all it takes.
That's all it
Date,
needs, yeah.
location, URL.
yeah.
That's it.
And just like start there, get some people to come. Don't be afraid if no one shows up, because at least you fucking tried. And I've done tons of events, and there's been days where no one showed up, but me and the homies showed
Yeah,
up,
like who?
and we had a great time.
Totally.
And we still were like, well,
And you
that was
didn't-
worth
and You
it.
didn't spend like $3,000 on like
No.
hay bales and cops.
No.
Yeah.
But so I would say keep it as simple as possible. Try to get some stuff to give out, even if it's just one T-shirt, one deck. Like,
Totally.
just reward the people that put in effort, because if they're gonna show up and shred, and like you're gonna have judges and stuff, if you're the judge, reward the people that put on the show. It's
Totally.
a show, and it's fun, and everyone destroys, and people just want recognition more than anything. And half of the prizes is being filmed and being in the
Totally.
edit, you know?
Totally.
So, like,
that's more valuable, unless you're giving away like diamond watches. Like
Yeah.
people probably care more about the footage they can share 5 years later.
Yeah.
Be like, how sick was that? Like,
Yeah.
I was cool when I was younger. Now I've got 2 kids. I'm fat.
and they
But like,
shred.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they shred.
Let's hope
They're not fat.
they're less fat.
Yeah, they're less fat.
They're
But,
fat
like-
because they're following me,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my
And I eat
habits.
a lot of
But
Cheetos. But
but don't be scared. That's all I'm
Don't-
saying. Is
yeah.
like, don't be scared.
don't expect someone else to do it for you. Honestly,
No,
like
no.
I and also not to get like super woke, but like
Get woke.
I'm gonna get woke.
Too woke. Too woke.
Sorry, I'll stop with the spirit fingers.
Get woke.
So back when there were a lot more skate shops and there were a lot more full length video parts, and there were reasons there was
All I
no
need, Good Eye just dropped. By
Good
the
Eye
way.
just dropped
full
full length,
video, full length,
4
45
premieres,
minutes.
civil.
That's fine.
Soul Star.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Thanks.
so when there were skate shops everywhere and there were full length videos and VHSs and whatever, and there was no Amazon, no online shops, like people congregated at skate shops because that was where the scene was, and that's where you knew you could find your dirtbag friends who had the same interest, who were maybe counterculture or just liked the same interest. It's like that's like their golf club or their soccer team or whatever. This is like their group of friends. Now that you can buy everything online and there's all these 3-minute Instagram video parts and there's very few full lengths, at least physical copy, and there's very few
Or DVDs are coming, by the way.
DVDs. Yeah,
But go
there's
ahead.
very few like film premieres except for All I Need, and you know it's like it's all like Thrasher online parts and like little brands trying to like make a stab at it. So the reason I say all that is I think events have kind of, for me, events are the new skate shop. It's the new place where you can count on a congregation of people who are like-minded, who care about the same thing, who want to share the same experience, who want to have their own like little locker room, boys club, girls club, everybody club.
Yeah. Everybody
just,
meets
like,
up.
everybody
Everyone gets
meets
to see
up,
each
you get to
other,
hang out,
have
see-
a good time.
totally. Like,
Maybe
you
get in an argument, maybe not.
Totally, like be like
Everyone skates.
totally. So that's like there are people who I never see anywhere except Central Mass, and I love that I get to see them at Central Mass because it's the one reason we have to come together.
It's amazing that and I love Central Mass for that, because in any skate event for that, because all summer long I'm like on tour and I start seeing the same people that love skateboarding again and again at these events,
Right.
and we all get to hang out. We wouldn't hang out normally
Totally,
because we're all on our own agendas.
and you need
know?
like anyone who has a busy schedule. Like I can't just go to every single little event. I'd love to if I could, but like if someone hosts a cool event, I'm like sick. Like I'm gonna go there. Half the reason I go, like I'm not a competitive racer or skater or anything, but if I go to my buddy Justin's event in Colorado, Devil's Peak, I'm like I'm gonna get to see so many friends who I like miss because they live all over the country and world, and it's gonna be awesome. So
Yeah.
it's like sort of. Especially even like Facebook's kind of ruined. We had a really cool forum called Silverfish that was like heady, deep dive, product knowledge, like photo and video sharing, all that stuff, and it was like archived. You could go back through the archives and find stuff. Now on Facebook, everything's like a super quick flash in the pan. Like you post a cool thing, it gets a few likes, and then it disappears forever. So I think for a lot of reasons, like events, both for the media, long form skate shop kind of like congregation, and then also like the way that social media has become so ephemeral, like so like short-lived, events are the only way to kind of like make like lasting memories and friendships. And
Yeah.
honestly, like
It's like a live concert.
Totally.
Almost, where you're like, oh my
absolutely
God,
absolutely
yeah.
But instead of watching David Bowie,
Bon
R.I.P.,
Jovi. Let's
instead
do
of
Bon
watching John Bon Jovi play a mediocre set
How
and
dare
be
you?
resentful of the $275 you spent on the ticket, you're like John Bowie skating, Ryan Gosling skating, Anthony Shetler skating, fucking like Darth Vader skate, like everyone's skating.
Joe Haney's in
Yeah,
there.
like exactly. So it's like it's awesome because you get to skate with your idols, and you can suck at skating, and someone who's ripping right next to you is skating, and they're giving you daps because you landed your first rock to fakie, and you're giving them daps because they did like a tray flip blunt stall to fake. You know, it's like everyone is rewarded. Like
I love that.
It's so awesome. So
Skating with people is way better than just being a fanboy.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and you'll also have your mind blown. Like first few years I skated, I just skated with my friends, and all we knew was that like we were practicing board slides and 50-50s on the little flat bar in their driveway. We're like, this is tight.
Hell
This
yeah.
is fun. But then it wasn't until like I started making YouTube videos that I saw other people's YouTube videos. I was like, oh my God, that's possible. Like you can do that.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until having them come to my town for Central Mass where I was like, holy shit, like these people are really good. I didn't know any of this was possible. I'm super inspired, and also they were all like super chill bros who just like wanted to hang out and skate and broettes. Like
Yeah.
so
And that's important. That's important that you notice that because girls are crushing it, dude.
dude, it's like amazing.
Seriously.
I was just talking to, I forget if it was Civil, one of the shops I sell to, they were like, man, last month we sold 50-50 girls to guys skateboards. We
It's
sold a
amazing.
gang of girls completes. There's like a whole New England women's skateboard collective, like club.
New England female
There's that-
skateboarding.
yeah, New England female skateboarding, who they said they're gonna show out for Central Mass and like promote it, because I want to have a women's specific mini ramp jam.
They came to New England.
Yeah.
And they did a jam. It was
Yeah.
sick.
So that's, having women skate is a huge positive development. I think it's been a boys club for too long. It's been kind of like a jock attitude, like, you know, like if you show up as a girl to a skate park, you either get ogled or like shunned to the side.
Well, let's stop here for a second
Sorry, yeah.
and put a little note here.
We should also probably get back to comments.
We'll get
too,
back
'cause
to the
it looks
comments
like
in a
they're stacking.
second, definitely. Mason, I hope we answered you with some advice. The best advice
20
is
minutes
just
of
keep
advice.
it simple. Yeah, that's 20 minutes is rich.
Yeah.
You're that's good. 20 minutes.
These are billable hours, so I'll have an invoice on your desk on Monday.
Coming your way. You want to see a piece of artwork that Mason made?
Yeah.
We'll get back to the girl topic.
What's Mason's last name?
I don't know his last name, but it's Rough Song Skateboarding. He made this and sent it. Podcast listener crushed
Oh,
it.
sick.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
All I need 2019.
Yeah, when we have our studio
Is
set
that a
up.
piece of meat on the ground?
Yep, that's
Awesome.
true.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and he even like fully to hang it.
Oh, hell yeah. Remove and mount this to wall. Nice job, Mason. Thanks for doing that.
So let's stop there for a second. First I'll say, dude, on our last trip, Martha's Vineyard, the new edit we put up on the YouTube channel, the boys brought their girlfriends. Evan Manzalillo, Kevin Clem, and Sam Kern. They brought their ladies, Shelly, Colleen, and I'm spacing right now. How am I? Because I'm a little grandpa.
Twisted off that
Julia,
lemongrass
sorry,
shot.
Julia Gulia. I knew it was in there. Julia's the shit. They came and they skated. They even went to New York with us and skated around the whole city. And the whole time I'm
Wasn't
like,
it the best? Like, you're
dude,
like,
I was
sweet.
tripping out because I'm like, I'm 36. My team rider's like 20, 22. And it's a whole different world. Because when I was coming up, oh, this is what I was putting a pin in. It was a boys club, but not that guys couldn't. Boys are basically little dudes and they're immature and you know, you crack dick jokes and you know,
Totally.
you're a little like whatever. But I've always been open to girl skating, like,
Totally.
but there wasn't any girl skating because it was perceived as just a boys club, and it was because that boys are into like hurting themselves, smashing
like,
shit,
drywall
like,
punching, you know, bros,
destroying stuff on their skateboards,
like shotgunning monsters, in like a show, like they're showing their little flamingo feathers.
Yeah,
if a girl shows up, they're like, I'm gonna punch you in the face because girls love this. And
that's fun. But then, like, I think it just took a while. I think girls, like, slowly came in because it just took a little while for it to mature to the point where, like, people got it. Beyond just, like, little boys. Little boys get, like, the destructive side of skateboarding, and that's the one side of it, and it's super fun. But it's easy. It translates to boys super easy. But skateboarding can also be creative and expressive and all this other stuff. And the rest of the world didn't know about it. Literally, when I was coming up, it was just, like, boys everywhere, and we were just shredding and whatever. And Alyssa Steamer was like the girl that was like a dude that got it.
Yeah.
And she was just in the van with the dudes and was just like willing to put up with the dirty ass sweaty balls and like just being in a van with a bunch of dirt bags, you know?
And I've got to imagine some of the guys who were smart and forward thinking were probably like, guys, like huddle up. If you stop being such dirtbag, scumbag pieces of shit and hitting on every girl or like fighting in front of every girl that you see, you'll actually get to like hang out with girls.
You'll see that they're humans.
They'll be like,
not just pieces of meat.
Yeah. Do you want to only ever see dudes every day, or do you want to sometimes see girls? Because if you want to, just like be a decent human being and not a piece of trash.
Just have some restraint.
Just
once
like
in
be
a while.
decent.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait,
Not all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, I get to skate with girls, and they're really good at skating. Like,
Yeah. And they got some good dick jokes too.
yeah.
Yeah. Just
I worked
like
for
we did.
ProTech and Lizzie Armanto. Like, dude, I just watched there was some Vans contest, and like watching the video, I was like, oh my god, like this is the level in women's skating is so high.
Yeah. It's cool.
It's awesome.
I was so like they brought their girls and I was just like tripping because I'm like, this is sick. Like everyone's getting along, everyone's skating, everyone's like bringing value, everyone's got their own style. Like it's sick to have another gender because it's another expression of skating, which I wasn't.
50% of the population you're missing out on if it's just dudes.
But just like even just
Some would say
watching
the
like.
third gender.
And I'm filming a lot, so I'm like, I'm enjoying filming some girls skate because it's different. I'm like, this is a different style, this is a different approach. Like it's just like, it's really cool to see, and it really made me stoked. And it was weird because I'm like, back in the day, like no one would want to bring their girlfriend.
Yeah,
and
like,
now
no,
my whole
leave them
team's
home.
like, yo, we're bringing our girls.
Dude,
I'm like, fuck
that's
yeah,
like-
let's go.
That's how I knew I like loved my girlfriend, or that it was probably gonna work. Is like I took her on a boys'
I
trip.
love you, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah, well, I was like, she's awesome. I don't want to blow this, but like my friend is having his birthday party. He's renting a house up at Sugarloaf Sunday River, and they're inviting like 20 of the boys who all went to Plymouth State University, which is, I call it Plymouth Snowboard University because everyone who goes there snowboards.
Makes
and
sense.
they just go to Loon religiously in Waterville and Cannon, and it's like the squad. So they all rip, and they invited me. We just started dating, and I was like, I want to go, but I also want Kyle to come because she snowboards. We've never snowboarded.
Her name's Kyle?
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
I
I'm
know.
confused. Dude, 2019.
Kyle Bonus.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that?
That's interesting.
Yeah, might take her last name. So
wow, you're so progressive.
yeah, right. It's just a cooler name in mine. So I was like, do I invite this girl? I've never snowboarded with her. We've been dating for like a few months. All these dudes shred. If she comes and she sucks at snowboarding, it's gonna be a huge bummer. But like, sure, come along. And
Not even if she sucks, but she gotta be able to hang, right? Like,
right,
yeah.
it doesn't have to shred, but just like we don't want to be waiting for you
Yeah.
constantly, or
That's
I
the
don't want to
problem.
have to split off from my friends to ride with you, or I don't want to have to
Cater
put you in a
the whole
lesson
time, yeah.
so that we don't have to wait for you.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, like doing our first couple runs, we start getting warmed up. We start doing some tree runs where it's like spicy lines through the trees, like spring snowboarding, some thin cover, and like hauling ass through the trees. And then I like look back, expecting to be like, all right, let's wait for Kyle. Like, guys, hold on. And she's like right behind us. I was like, oh, awesome.
Oh, she
She was
flew
like
by.
right there. I was like, all right, cool. This is awesome. This is a game changer.
I'll marry her.
Yeah, someday I will. So that's just to your point, like having girlfriends and friends who are girls who can skate and hang, even if they're not the best skater in the crew, it's so awesome. It's like you're missing out by only having it be dudes.
It's what I've learned is that it can work and it can be 10 times as awesome.
Yeah. I
And
bring my
it's cool.
girlfriend to our sales meetings in Europe, like for my snowboard, Jones Now and Yes snowboard brands. They do a sales meeting in Europe each year. So like this year was in Switzerland and last year was in Austria. And I was like, why don't I fly in early with my girl? We'll get to snowboard like in the Alps. She'll fly home and then we'll start the meeting. And then all the other reps showed up. They're like, wait, you've already been here? You've been snowboarding with your girlfriend?
Come out here.
And they're like, I'm like, yeah, it's been tight. We just had like 3 feet of pow. Or like this year it was like, yeah, there's no snow. I fucked my board up really bad, but I work for a snowboard company, so I can get more.
Yeah.
But like, it's funny. The reactions are mixed. It's like half of them are like, "Don't tell my wife, because I don't want her to come," and the other half are like, "This is amazing. I'm gonna do this next year. How did I never think of this?" It's like,
I totally get like wanting to have your space from your lady too.
Yeah.
Like,
but
that's
like if you
fair
share
enough.
the interest, which if you're talking about girls who skate and guys who skate, it's already established. Like if you share the interest, do it together. It's probably more fun.
Yeah, and like I said, it can work, and the All I Need crew proved it. I was like, this is so cool. I didn't feel any awkwardness. Everyone got along. Everyone's got the same sort of sense of humor. Everyone skated hard, applied themselves.
Totally.
Didn't matter the gender, you know?
Totally.
Let's get to some YouTube stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on my phone too, because I might. Two eyes.
Am's Team Skater says, how's life? You want to give him a quick one?
Life is good. I just got hired by Mammut. So I'm a sales rep in the snowboard and skateboard and I guess now ski industry and climbing industry. Mammut is a big Swiss brand founded in 1862. They had a rep opening in New England because their rep got hired as a sales manager, and through a few different twists and turns, I got hired, so I'm going to sell them alongside my current brands. It's a huge career opportunity. It's also kind of stressful, so I'm hiring a sub rep, which is someone who's going to help me do my business, which is like my day job, which is still fun. So that's good. I'm excited. I haven't been sleeping that much because it's a lot of work, but hopefully that'll change. So that's I'm stoked. And it's summer now. The sun's shining.
Beautiful.
It's like beach weather. You can throw those flip flops on. I've been wearing sandals pretty much exclusively.
Hippie.
I know. I actually, if you went out to my car, you'd see Chaco sandals sitting in the driver's seat footwell because I was like, I can't walk in here with fucking Chaco sandals on.
Look at that guy.
Anthony, guy's wearing moccasins. I was like, I gotta put on some. I gotta put on some skate shoes so that Anthony respects me. Because I'm just fighting for. Really, I just want Anthony's respect.
You got it, bro.
All right.
10 years.
Thank God.
10 years.
Thank God I changed these sandals.
Shout out to Pat B. He says, sounds awesome. Andre Cavarlo says, hello. Hello, Andre. Mr. Perry Vlogs gives the cheers. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Robert.
Stim Truck says, what's up, Mike? Super stoked for the DH, man.
That's Gary Enright.
Nice, hell yeah. He's stoked for the downhill, man.
Stoked to have you back. Gary had a record. He signed up first every year. He messed it up this year. He set the wrong alarm or something. But Gary, the second I open registration, he registers within like 30 seconds.
Right.
I think he like wrote a script to auto sign up.
Wow.
So that was cool. Shout
Gary's
out.
On top
As
of
an
it.
event organizer, people who sign up early are God's gift. And
Because that helps ease the stress.
Oh my God.
You're like,
Well,
someone.
when half the people sign, if half the people sign up in the last week, it's like literally I'm pulling my hair out because I'm like I'm gonna lose $10,000. Like this is a crisis.
Yeah.
If everyone just signed up earlier, it would be way easier. So thank you, Gary Enright.
Yeah.
Stim Trucks.
For those out there that are looking to sign up for any event,
do it early.
Help them out.
Early.
Do it early.
I pray.
Mason Roughs on Skateboard says, so AIN Friday, I can only take one day and I want to say what's
Friday.
up.
Do it Friday.
Mini ramp. We can't come to Sunday because we're going to Robstock.
Yeah. If you don't care about Robstock's gonna be sick. If you don't care about downhill skateboarding or the slide jam, definitely come Friday. That's the day to do it. If you want to see the mini ramp, skate the mini ramp, skate the street course, that's where it's at.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna have Skull Candy, who's also hiring Avert as the DJ. So we'll have a DJ spinning awesome music all day. ProTech is also co-sponsoring the mini ramp jam. So it's legit. There's like some sick prizes. I just got a huge box of stuff from ProTech. Skull Candy, the rep Joey Siciliano is going to be bringing his prizes. He always throws down.
Joey's the man.
Throws down a bunch of like headphones, Bluetooth speakers, earbuds. So it's going to be tight.
It's done well. We'll be there, so you should be there.
And we'll be doing a raffle every day, which benefits the ambulance squad. But also this year we're donating money to Talent Skate Park, which is in Burlington,
Vermont. Nice.
They went out of business. Like they were on the ropes for a while. Like awesome indoor skate park, bright green ramps. Like the
turned out some
fixture.
pro skateboarders, Jordan Maxim, Cookie. There's a few legends from that area.
Totally.
And it's
and
so
like the
crucial.
only Burlington skate park forever until they put out the outdoor one. But like Burlington winter,
you need it.
You need an indoor park.
Indoor.
So they closed, and all of a sudden the whole community is like, oh my God, this is like a crisis. We need you to come back. So there's been some fundraising, like GoFundMe, which you can still donate to. You should if you can.
Put that link in the description.
Yeah, but they've got a donor who's willing to match $50,000. If the community can raise $50,000, he or she, it's anonymous, will donate $50,000 to match. And they basically need $100,000 to get into this new space, which is a huge warehouse, which would be awesome. So this year, if you come, we'll have raffle tickets, we'll have prizes from all of our sponsors, which is like, we have a lot, but Skull Candy, Spy, sunglasses, Skull Candy speakers, headphones. We'll have All I Need, maybe a couple All I Need decks.
I'm down.
Okay, cool.
Let's do it.
We just decided that right now. Handshake. Cool. Sponsored by All I Need Skateboards.
Especially if it's going towards helping talent.
Yeah.
We're fucking
We just
in,
need a
bro.
deck or two.
Yeah, I'm in.
Maybe you can sign it.
We got to
have the whole team sign it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have helmets and pads from ProTech. We'll have wheels from Orangutan. We'll have trucks from Paris. There's a whole bunch of sponsors which are on the website on the sponsors tab. But basically, raffle tickets. There will be a lot of really cool prizes. Some hammocks from Eno. And yeah, those are tight.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And that is going to benefit the ambulance crew who keeps us all safe, and also Talent Skate Park, which we really want to see come back into existence. So
shout out Hannah.
shout out Hannah and Dave.
Dave, right?
Dave and Hannah.
I haven't been there since Fibro days.
David Wood
awesome.
and Hannah Dean.
So
come Friday.
Mr. Perry Vlog says, yeah, bro, Friday they'll be there. Mr. Perry Vlog says F250. Is that an insider thing?
Where's my drink? We had this game at God damn it.
Actually, before you get into it, do you have another one of these?
I sure do.
Let's do this.
So there was a game.
Thank you.
I'll try and do the Spark Notes.
Yeah.
Whenever we close the road for a downhill race, you need to identify the last vehicle going up the road, because as soon as they leave, you close the road at all locations so that there's no more through traffic. And it helps me. We need one less staff person to be a driver, and I can personally close the road if I am the last vehicle up the road, and also just that way I can shuttle people. And I rented.
I never even thought about that. You have to shuttle people up the fucking hill.
We use U-Haul. Fuck U-Haul. I forgot about that. Enterprise. We use Enterprise. U-Haul can burn. Oh god, that's a deep story. But
They're
anyways,
not a sponsor, bro.
Not a sponsor. U-Haul can burn. Enterprise.
Suck it.
You guys rock. So Enterprise had no cargo vans. Amazon, Jeff Bezos personally rented every last cargo van in a 100-mile radius to spite me personally.
He's taking everything, our jobs, he's taking our vans.
He's worth like $1 trillion. So he took our vans. Enterprise was like, do you want a truck? Like a pickup truck? Because I was like, I actually need to tow a trailer, so it needs to have a hitch. They're like, well, the F-150s we have don't have a hitch, but the F-250s do. How about a 3/4 ton, F-250 Super Duty Lariat with 600 miles on it? And I was like, you know what, brother? That sounds pretty good. America. And they're like,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, cool. Like, let's pull it up right now. And I was like, awesome. I'll stop talking. Yeah. I was like,
You're not from the South.
I was like, cool. I need a hitch adapter because like I have a normal size hitch. This is such a big truck. It has like a 3-inch, hitch mount. So
yeah, it's heavy.
So anyways, drove this truck, averaged 8 miles per gallon, which was not tight. Everything else about the truck was awesome.
Synchronized.
Cheers.
Yeah, Mike.
So the reason I'm drinking this is because I was driving the last truck all event, whipping this F-250, and I would always say like, all right, leaving the the bottom turnaround, last vehicle up's going to be the 250, just to abbreviate it.
Nice.
And then I would just say 250 a lot, and I'd correct people if they called it a F-150. I'm like, how dare you, bro? It's a 250. So then
250.
Unbeknownst to me, they made it a drinking game that whenever I said 250, everyone had to drink. So Rob just said 250. So cheers, Rob.
We have to drink to that, my friend.
Good times.
Right, so yeah, Rob,
also these are staff colored koozies. Everything that, if you look at any MG Events media, all of our staff is wearing safety orange. So Spy hooked it up with a bunch of these safety orange road soda koozies.
Nice, solid move.
Yeah, solid move.
All right, Pat B says, looking into this goodness now. Thanks for bringing this type of fun to the East Coast, and props to AIN for being a chill company.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Hell
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
The support means a lot and gets me hyped to keep it going.
Totally. Every once in a while, someone will send a message that's like a DM that's like, hey, by the way, I can't come this year, but I just want to let you know, like, I get warm fuzzies thinking about SEMAS. It's like the best time I ever had. Like, it's a super formative memory, like something along those lines. Like, I just got one yesterday that was like very heartfelt, and it's like, man, I don't hear, like, people aren't that explicit very often, but when I hear that someone like literally had their life changed for the better, it's like, that's why I do this. Like, and
it definitely means the whole world,
like,
man.
so
there's so much work, and like every year when you're throwing an event, you're like, you don't know if it's the effort's in vain. You know, at the end, everyone's stoked and stuff, but like when someone comes to you like with a heartfelt message and like takes that time, you're like, it really made a difference.
Yeah, or they're like, I loved your event and I want to host an event, and like, how can you help me do it? I'm like, yes. Like, I'm so glad that you came and you saw what's possible and that you now want to do it yourself. Like, and yes, I'll help, and just like, let me know what you need.
Yeah, it's dope, man. The feedback means the world to us.
Totally.
It's hard to fit 3 days under 10 minutes. Perry Vlogs. I do it for skate community. Grill some meats. Simon Weller says, grill some meats. I wish we had Simon Weller?
Weiler.
Weiler. No, it's Weller.
Oh, Simon Weller. Okay.
Grill some meats. I would love to grill some meat
Yeah,
right now. I'd go steak,
I was thinking about that. I was like, do I bring
sausages,
over grillables?
some chicken.
Dude,
would
you
be
should
well.
we should do one of these where we're doing this but in front of the grill. It's
I got a grill outside on the table, and we were podcasting out there last time with
nice.
Dickie J.
Ah, so not original.
Mary Perry, Mr. Perry Vlog says, Simon, sup bro, Simon Weller, yo. That's not kombucha, he says. Yeah, Jeff. He got on.
Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
He got on NPR.
Oh yeah, Jeff. We talked about Jeff, the friend of mine who hosted the event out in Florida, Mass, which is a real town.
Was he on NPR?
Yeah, they they did a segment on him. So he was on
Really?
the Western Mass local NPR.
Really?
And I think it went. I don't know if it went national, but like he got a really good audio piece. It was sweet.
That's rad. I listen to NPR once in a while.
Yeah, it's great. I listen to it constantly.
Simon says, this is inspiring. Yeah.
Thank you.
Get it, my
Good.
dude.
I'm glad.
Daily
This-
Show. Hey guys, I just found you on Instagram. Where can I find the info on the event?
So
Plug it again.
we'll plug it right now. Instagram, there are 2 channels. The most important one is Central Mass Skate Festival. That's like the official Central Mass Insta. There's also Central Mass Skate Festival on Facebook. But the most helpful resource, like if you've never heard about the event and you're starting from square one, the social media feed is like only semi-helpful because you're only seeing the most recent news. But the website is huge. So skatecentralma.com, skate, SKATECENTRALMA.com, has the promo video, which is a 7-minute long saga. I've had a lot of fun filming it. It's Planet Earth. Every year we do a different silly theme. Like one year I was picking apples in the orchard in my full leather one-piece bodysuit, and like downhill racing suit, full face helmet. So each year we do something kind of goofy. This year, since it's the last year and the species is going extinct, we did a Planet Earth critically endangered species edition.
Well, I saw some of this.
So this is
I mean,
that is right on the homepage at Central Mass. There's really we had to pay $40 for the music rights to the official Planet Earth soundtrack.
Wow.
So we really went
Heavy.
for it. But yeah, skatecentralma.com. That's got the promo video. It's got the top left drop down menu has so many different. It's like sponsors, frequently asked questions, schedule, travel. There's a discounted hotel booking link which expires on the 12th of July, which is in 2 days. So you can get a 20% discount on your hotel room if you want to do that. There's shuttles from the hotel to the event every day and to the after party and back on Saturday night.
What's the after party?
After parties at Billiards Cafe and Air Mass. We had a live act, a big band lined up that just fell through today, but I was like, wait a second. Setting up for the band is always really stressful. There are other bands that have reached out, but I think we might just do karaoke because people love karaoke.
Put that in the editing
And
contest.
yeah, and I think karaoke would be sick because we did it at Gravity Fest, like the local American Legion hosted a karaoke contest or whatever,
Nice.
and it was so fun. So it's like, man, maybe I set up so much less audio equipment because like that's always so stressful. Right after the race to go race over to the venue and set up gear for the like sound check a whole band and then tear it all down at 1 a.m. and like have to
Dude,
wake
you're
up.
insane.
Yeah, it's absurd.
You're
So,
insane.
it's-
10 years of
it's-
this. You're
it's-
fucking
I'm
insane,
like,
bro.
yeah.
Here, hold on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Here,
you.
let me
It's
give it
I need it. I need this. This is like, thank you.
Dude, that's heavy.
It's hardcore.
You did a
So,
lot.
and the venue owner this year was like, I was like, yeah, I'm working on lining up a live band and this and that, and like working with him on pricing. And he's like, why don't you just not do a band? It's like so much work and it's harder for us too. And I was like light bulb was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. I still want my buddy Anton's band to come, but if it falls through, maybe I don't need to hunt down another band to make my life harder. Maybe I do karaoke, which everyone's gonna have way more fun doing.
Yeah.
And I have a huge screen where we could honestly project it so large that like not only the person who's singing it can see it, but everyone can see it.
I'm singing Bon
And then it would be
Jovi,
like
baby.
sing along John Bon Jovi. It's gonna be a karaoke machine that only has Bon Jovi on it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and Chumbawamba. So, yeah, basically, that's what I'm leaning towards. I just got a message. Someone's like, what are the bands this year? I'm like, I don't blame you because I set this precedent that, like, every year there's a live band or 2 live bands or a DJ in a band. But, like, I might just do a small DJ set and then karaoke. So send your requests. If you want to request a song to add to the MG Events Central Mass 10 Spotify playlist, which I've been working really hard on, comment it below.
Leave it.
Show Me Love by Robin S. is definitely on there.
Nice.
Yeah. we're at like 200 something songs. It's gonna be sick.
That's right. I like the idea of karaoke. It's always fun, and you could add that in the editing contest.
Totally.
Pictures of me just like.
Yeah, Shetler. She's gonna scream. What is it? Simple Man.
Was that no? What's a Bon Jovi one?
Oh yeah.
I don't even know any of his songs.
John Bon.
God, that's
Jovi.
embarrassing. It was a little before my time. First album I ever bought was Wu-Tang 36
There you
Chambers.
go.
I was a young
Just do one of those.
kid.
We actually could also have a freestyle contest because some of the skate events. I went to the skate event in Mexico back in the day, and we played dice in the street, and then had like the sickest freestyle rap battle.
That's sick.
So there's this DJ who I was just like Mark Farina, who I used to listen to a ton of back in the day, who I just realized like would be sick to rap over.
Yeah.
So maybe we also do a little bit of that.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
White people rapping. We actually have a pretty diverse group of people who come out. It's not just white people, which is great because like I just like we were talking about, including women, like no sport should be so narrow, and like that's one of the things I like about skateboarding is it seems to be way more like people of all walks of life can skate. You don't have to have $1,000 to have some gnarly like carbon fiber frame bicycle. That would be way more than $1,000. But like all you need is a skateboard and the desire to skateboard. So it doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're rich or poor, it doesn't matter. Like you can skate.
I love skateboarding for that too. It can be super simple and it can be super complex.
Right.
And it's literally just a piece of wooden wheels, and what adds value
it's a toy.
To that is the energy that individuals put into it, and that transcends gender and sexual preference and so on and so forth. Like, because the truth is in what you do with the board, like how you animate use your energy to do it, and there's no coaches, and there can be if you want. Like I said, it can get super complex.
You can dork out with it. Like people definitely like if you want to
go to the Olympics, go right the fuck ahead.
Yeah, if you want to go the jock route, that's not even a bad thing because like those are the people who progress the sport and like the sport, like those are the people who land tricks that no one's ever done, or like do an overcrook down like a 20 set, and you're like, what is even happening? Like Nigel, how are you human? Or whatever crazy trick he's done. It's like you can have a trainer and go that route, and that's awesome because you're gonna invent new tricks that no one ever thought was possible. And then if you just want to like barely slash coping on your local pool
and have a blast,
that's great. Yeah.
It's crazy because skateboarding is so complex that it could be a sport, it could be a lifestyle, it could be whatever you want. It could be an individual thing, it could be a group thing.
Totally.
It can be for anybody. It's just like when I picked up skating, it was just because I had issues. I had like family issues, and I was antisocial, and I was slightly angry, and I was very angry, and I needed friends, and I just started skating, and it was something that I could somewhat control.
Yeah,
barely.
It's like homeopathic.
You can work at it.
You can feel incremental progress.
Yeah,
like if you're terrible, but you spend all day and you finally get like one axle stall,
it's the whole world.
You're like, oh my god, and then the next day you'll be like, all right, like practicing manuals. I remember Loaded Challenge Series back in like 2009. They did this thing where you had to learn a trick each week, and if you learned all 10, there was 10 weeks. If you learned all 10 and you put it together in a YouTube video by a certain due date, then you got $150 off a complete.
Nice.
And if you were one of the best ones, then you got a free complete. So it was like perfect motivation to be like, I'm gonna go learn some tricks.
Hell yeah.
And the first one was nose manual 3 parking spaces.
Oh.
And I was like, you guys gotta start with that? Like I don't even know how to do any manual.
That's a tough one.
But I spent like weeks just like going to parking lots, which are everywhere. Like you don't even need a skate park. You just go, like there are parking spaces, they're always the same width. It's like mandated by law or whatever. So you can always go and you have that easy incremental like, all right, today I'm gonna nose, I won't leave this parking lot till I get 1 parking space.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I won't leave until I get 2. And then it might take me a week to get 3. But then all of a sudden you're like, this is sweet. I have like these metrics. It's like someone who's into running. It's like, all right, I want to get a 7-minute split time for the next mile. Or I want to run this time marathon. It's like that exists with skateboarding, and there's that little reward, like the little carrot that gets dangled, or that you can dangle for yourself. And if you want a really, really big carrot because you're hungry, you go to skate events and you try to get on the podium.
Yeah.
And you try to win money. Like we give away a lot of money at Central Mass because I'm like, I get it. Like feel good, shaka bras, and free shoes and hats and glasses are sick, but like you got to buy lunch, you got to buy your train ticket or your bus ticket or put gas in your tank and whatever. So I try to make sure that I reinvest in the community and put back in whatever comes in pretty much goes out, because that just feels like that's the only way to have everyone survive together. So
Yeah, and I mean, dude, that's the dream. To
Yeah.
make some money skating. It's
but
fun.
you don't have to, like, some people are like, oh, I don't want to go to that event because I won't ever get on the podium. It's like, dude, there are hundreds of people who are going to come and won't be on the podium.
It's still gonna be fun.
They're all going to have so much fun.
It's still gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That's
if
why
you
I
get-
like the edit, because most
Yeah.
people get in the edit if they apply energy
Totally,
and effort.
totally.
And, it's
And
like,
if we
dude,
have
it's really
5
sick.
media people filming them from every
You're
angle,
covered.
it's like, dude, you are guaranteed. And we got like 4 photographers, and we publish all the photos. We try to not, like, some of it I kind of slow drip just so I don't run out of, like, I don't want to blow my whole load like a week after the event. I want to
Yeah.
have like stuff to put out that no one's ever seen before all year, which is hard. But
I think about this stuff all
dude,
the time.
pretty much we try to like make it all out there so people can create their own creatives. And I'm amazed with the Central Mass editing contest. Everyone has access to the same footage. You're allowed to use up to. That's a
Nobody's showing
shoey.
nothing.
That's a shoey. I'm not gonna force you to do it because that would be.
Why is that a rule?
Yeah, our rule is if you spill your beer, you gotta shoe it. If people call you on it,
Dude,
You
that's
gotta
a fucking rough rule.
pour the
Like,
rest of your beer into your shoe.
Are you joking me? I don't even have shoes
I
on.
know those are fur-lined moccasins. That would be really
They
brutal.
are,
You'd have
they
to like
are.
you'd have to like
No,
squeeze it out. I
uh-uh.
won't make you do
That's
it.
a rough rule, dude.
It is.
Change your rules.
That's why
bro.
you can't be a scrub, dude. You gotta hold on to that beer.
It's the thing. It's tippy.
It is tippy, I'll give you
It's a
that.
little tippy.
Dude, I played Beers for Life and Bull Moose, so you have to drink out of your non-dominant hand, and you got to modify your can. So I got a little dent right there, and I'm drinking out of my left hand.
All right.
Sorry, that's a
No.
sidebar.
Completely to switch it up right now. Favorite movies? Do you have any favorite movies? I usually say top 3, but that always blows people's minds. Like 3 movies. That's come 3 fucking
Dude, I gotta come
movies.
with.
I got my 3 fucking dialed.
So I'm like the most movie illiterate person ever, but
Oh, shame.
it's terrible. But I grew up without TV, and this is just
Are
what
you
happens.
Amish?
Yes. No.
Interesting.
I know. I have a cell phone, but I'm Amish. But no. So
you never know.
out of the few movies I have seen, Pulp Fiction was tight.
Ooh,
I like lived off of The Matrix when I was a kid.
that's
I
like
had it
that's
on-
not even a movie. That's like a
I
documentary.
think it is of who I want to be.
Are you Neo? Who are
I'm
you?
actually
Who are you in the movie?
Trinity.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah.
Nice
she's
set
got
on
She
you.
got yeah. Thank
Nice
you.
set
thank
on
you.
you.
Um,
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. Got cakes. So that I probably like watched the VHS so many times that the tape wore out.
Wow.
I just loved it because I had like 3 movies. So I was
You
like,
should have got digital like the Matrix.
you know, this was
digital.
like I had it on VHS.
Yeah, you're
it was like I was
ahead of
a little
time.
behind.
Yeah.
So
behind time.
so
That's 2.
that's 2.
That's solid.
3.
I feel like you don't really know yourself till you know your top 3.
I know. Let me think about this.
Here, I'll give you 2 because you gave me 2.
Okay.
Forrest Gump,
Okay.
because it's
I
just,
saw that like a year
it's
ago for
legend.
the first time. Ever.
Really?
Yeah.
It's legendary, right?
Yeah.
The man just
It was
floats
good.
around.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any expectations, but
Yep.
he knows that
Oh.
he might not be a smart man, but he knows what love
Saving
is.
Private Ryan. number 3.
Oh, Tom Hanks, smart shit.
Yeah.
He's in that one, right?
Tom Hanks is.
Meg Ryan, is it?
Maybe.
No, maybe not.
Tom Hanks is the most memorable. I like that one. It's definitely a downer,
It's the war movie.
but it is like if you want to. Oh, or Hacksaw Ridge, because like I do have a soft spot for war movies. Not like a big interest.
What's
but, like,
Hacksaw Ridge then?
That's like a more recent war movie. That was my former roommates laughed about it because like I know so few movies that like if we would be hanging out, we lived together for 3.5 years, and they're like encyclopedias of movies and TV. So we'd be like, well, it's a Thursday night, like 9 p.m. You guys want to watch a movie? Sure. They'd be like, what do you want to watch? I'd be like, you guys seen that movie Hacksaw Ridge? They'd be like, dude, we've watched it with you like 3 times. And they're like, that's the only thing you ever request. I'm like, it's the only movie I just say what I think. Like, that's the only movie I can think of right now.
That's how you know it's in your top 3.
Yeah. So they would be like, and now it's kind of a joke. They'd be like, you seen any good movies lately? I'm like, Hacksaw Ridge.
Wait, so Saving Private Ryan, Hacksaw Ridge.
No, one of those 2. I'd have to pick one of them. I'd say Hacksaw Ridge, Matrix,
Matrix.
Original.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Nice. That's a solid lineup.
For someone who doesn't know shit about movies, Finding Nemo was tight too, but that's probably number
That's in
5.
my top 3.
Okay, sick.
Wow. That's in my top 3.
Yeah, it's
Tom
a really,
I mean,
really
Forrest
good
Gump, Finding Nemo, And then the last one's Sword in the Stone animation,
Okay.
the original one.
Classic.
Yeah,
Definitely.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing to know.
Okay.
That's
Were you-
awesome.
Pulling my leg with Finding Nemo, or is that for real? Top
No,
five?
dead serious.
It's
dead ass.
really good.
It's
so I'm
so
glad
good.
that you're not kidding.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
I mean, you probably know, but the reason
Because
why
it's
I
a
like it.
fantastic film.
Well,
Toy Story could be up there too.
Toy Story's heavy.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo for me gets me because he has a gimpy fin. He loses his mom in the beginning.
Yep.
Then he gets taken, and then his dad goes across the whole
It's
ocean.
like really traumatic. If it were humans, like filmed in like a more kind of like war-torn Ukrainian like
You could go
USSR
that
thing,
way.
it would be dark.
Yeah.
But it's fish, so you're like, it's cute, but
Yeah.
sad.
His dad goes across the whole ocean fighting jellyfish, sharks, and everything to find his son, and then pulls it off.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that movie.
If you haven't seen Finding Nemo, it's in theaters now.
And Finding Dory's just as
I haven't
good.
seen that yet.
I feel like Finding Dory sometimes because like you just keep forgetting and you're
Super
out in
scattered.
space. You ever take a loss? This is kind of dark farm, but we're going there. You ever take a loss in life that you feel everything goes silent? Like you ever get some real bad news where it's like life altering and everything goes silent and you feel like you're out in space
Yes.
and nothing matters and you're just with yourself and you're digesting this thing and you can't hear anything and you're just like lost in this like news that you just got out and it's like nothing's gonna be the same
Totally.
and
Yeah.
it's hard to pull out of that.
Dude, I can only think of one time. I've gotten bad news, but like
If you lose
the only
someone,
time I
that's
can
the
think of it,
feeling.
like my dad had a stroke after. This was right before, like a week before Central Mass, maybe 5.
Yeah.
I had just graduated college. I was living in Providence, so I was like away from home. I mean, it's still close to Harvard. You know, it's an hour drive, but I'm like working full time, working really hard, getting ready for this event, which I'm like everyone, like my parents are the best. They open up our whole house. It's like a modest house, 1,800 square feet, like, but it's in a beautiful town, beautiful property. And they like turn their house into the staff compound, and my dad like helps. He's out in the yard, you know, tinkering away on ramps until midnight, like custom engineering his own super overbuilt ramp.
Legend.
And my mom's like, you know, making curry chicken salad and like cleaning everyone's dirty laundry. So they're just a super key part of the event. So a week before the event, I got a phone call from my mom being like, your dad had a stroke. He's
This is
honest-
last year?
This is like 5 years ago.
Okay.
She's like, we don't know how bad it is. He's in the ambulance right now. You should probably come home. And I was like still at the office. It was like I stayed late. It was like I don't know, 7 p.m. or something, starting to get dark. And I just like went outside and was like, you know, same like you just said, like silence. I was just like, I started crying. I was like, oh my God.
It's like when you get news that you
it's
know
like,
is irreversible.
Dude, it stops
like,
your life. I was like, oh my God. And I'm like trying to think of like, what do I do? Like Central Mass is about to happen. My dad has a stroke. Strokes can be fatal. Strokes can paralyze you. It's like, I was like, how do I even grapple with this? Like this is so much heavy shit to take all at once. And I just like tunnel vision. I was like you said, I like blacked out. I was just sitting there just like torn up. It was hard. And then drove home and like luckily he had a hemorrhagic stroke that didn't paralyze his body and they stopped the bleed. You know, it's like it went as well as it could have.
That's good.
But it could have gone so bad.
A lot of them do.
And he got super lucky. So it's like, man, it's heavy. So yeah. No,
That's
I
that
feel you.
moment where
Yeah.
you're just like
That's
everything
like,
gets.
it's the only one I can think of that was like that to that extent where I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
It gets super quiet and you lose all your breath and you're crying but you can't cry anymore and there's nothing you can do to fix what's going on, so you're just in that waiting room. And that's kind of Finding Dory because she's
I was
lost.
just gonna say, that's kind of like how I feel when I watch Finding Nemo.
Yeah, well, like Finding Dory, she can't remember anything, and
Yeah.
she's trying to find her family, and she
Yeah.
can't remember anything, so
Yeah.
she keeps being out in that
Sounds
outer
like
space.
crippling, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's fucking heartbreaking. I actually met a dude at the gym the other day.
Been working out,
Interesting side note. Oh, now who's dropping
sorry,
shit?
sorry. I can't. I can't shoe the. Oh
Shoe it,
no!
shoe
there
it.
you go.
No, I always
Sorry
say
about
gym.
that.
I always say gym, but it's more of the spa.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
I like to get my nails done.
Nice.
JK,
nice,
JK,
nice.
JK.
It's a little steam bath or like steamer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got the sauna, the steam room, and the hot tub and the pool. I like to go there.
Shred
for that.
some weights.
Sometimes I work the machines, but mostly
Oh.
relaxation. But
Mr. Perry Vlogs, by the way, said number 1 movie Shawshank Redemption, 2 Lords of Dogtown, 3 Trading Places. Good top 3.
Trading Places
Haven't
had Eddie
seen-
Murphy.
Haven't seen Trading Places. I think so,
I think so.
but
Yeah,
I love Shawshank Redemption and Lords of Dogtown.
yeah, that's a good 3. There you go.
Solid.
So I was at the I shouldn't say gym, but I was at the spa, and this dude walked in, and he's like walking in like half his body's
Oh
paralyzed,
my god.
and he sits down. He's naked, just FYI, for you
Cool.
to get a mental
Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
I'm in shorts. That's it. But looking ripped, 6-pack, like
obviously,
a little
yeah.
too hairy,
Yeah, I
but
can
like
tell.
action hero. I
Yeah.
can tell.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch. And he comes in and he's limping in. He sits down, and like I'm sitting there, I'm hot as shit, sweating, about to pass out because it's the steamer. No, the sauna, dry heat.
Yeah.
And he said something, and then he was like,
Was he like slurring?
no, he was talking fine, but like he just couldn't walk. He
Hmm.
literally took him so long to walk in there, and he told me he had 5 strokes.
Oh,
And he
Jesus.
said like they all just came to him recently.
Yeah.
Like he was like 50, 60
Yeah,
years
well,
old.
that's the thing. If you get a blood vessel blockage, like that kind of stroke,
Yeah.
then it can kind of like be cumulative because it's just like unless you get it totally like you can't just push out a blocked, blood vessel. You got to like
Yeah.
rework it all and like replumb your system, and then you've got like new obstructions. It's like it's pretty heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds heavy.
Yeah.
And this dude was like he had an amazing head on his shoulders for like going through 5 strokes in the
Yeah.
past year, but I was just like, and I wanted to keep asking more questions, but
Alright.
like every time I looked at him, I just couldn't help but look at his dick.
Yeah.
Because he's
I get
naked
that,
and like
yeah.
you're trying not to look in his eyes, you look
Yeah.
down, you're like, oh dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's just an awkward spot, you know
You're
what
like,
I
you
mean?
have a pretty hard dick. I mean, a hard stroke. Like, how was your your stroke? That was hard, right?
Stroke. Oh, the lingo is just
and you're
not
like,
helping.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Yeah.
Dude, the gym is a weird spot. With
Yeah.
old dudes do not give a shit about getting
Dude,
naked.
old dudes love having.
I'm
dicks
still a
out.
little insecure.
Same.
Recently, I got like.
Dude, I'll
more
do the
comfortable
towel. I'll do
with-
like the deck change with the towel, where
Yep.
like I'll let my dick out be out for a
let her
second,
breathe a little.
but like not that long.
You're not hanging
I'm
out
not
there.
airing it out.
There's dudes up there with their legs like.
Dude, they're
fucking-
like stretching out, doing a full like hamstring stretch. They're like, yo, bro, can you stretch my leg out? I'm like, your dick is like so out. No.
I saw one dude. He was sitting down. The other dude was standing up, and they were having a full conversation. His dick was literally face height.
Did he like put it on top of like a pedestal or something?
No, he's just standing in front of the dude, and they're talking pubic, and he's looking up, and there's just a dick right there, and it was like no big deal. And I'm like, yo, like you gotta sit down if you're gonna talk to me.
Yeah, like
You
I wouldn't.
know?
No one wants to see that.
No, put your piece away. Let's
No.
have a conversation.
If I
Look
were
me
to-
eye in the eye.
Yeah, I don't care how old you are, how nice your dick is. I don't want to see that. I don't care.
It's
Just
deep.
put it away.
There's a decent piece on him, but not my thing.
It's
Not
all
my
you,
thing.
Nick, Not for me.
Yeah, the spa gym piece. Another weird side note while we're on it is 2 times ago I went to the gym 2 times ago, and I never would put a lock on my locker.
Okay.
Yeah, and because I trust people a little
Sure,
too much
same,
apparently,
same,
a little
yeah.
too much. So I went, did the whole thing, swam, hot tub, sauna.
Where's this gym? It sounds so nice.
It's around here.
I shouldn't tell you.
It's
Or
around
You
here.
shouldn't say because someone already broke into your locker. It sounds like.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So I do that whole thing, come back, and my boxers, the only thing missing. My phone.
Was
my
the guy
keys.
smelling them in the corner?
No, I wish, because then I'd know. So everything, I left my phone and my keys in my pants, and my wallet didn't touch any of that.
Right.
And my boxers, and I'm standing at the locker, and I'm looking, I'm like, socks, shoes, pants, shirt, everything. Where the fuck's my boxers? I'm
And
like,
you weren't wearing them.
no,
Okay.
I'm in my fucking towel. I'm
Right.
doing the locker room towel, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, it's my mistake. I must have just
Yeah.
dropped them.
Yeah.
I'm looking around, nothing. Looked in all the trash bins, nothing, dude. Gone. And I'm like, there's one dude in there, and he's overweight by like 350 pounds.
Mm.
And as he walks out, he gives me this look, and maybe it's because I'm freaking out, and he's just looking at me.
You like read too far into it.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. He
But
gave
he,
me
like-
like a smirk, like a sideways
So you
smirk.
give it like
on
a
his-
little.
Yeah, it seemed like he puckered a little.
Yeah, yeah.
It did. It
Kind of
really
like powdered
did.
his lips. Just like,
No, on his way out, and I was like, fuck, man. Either he's looking at me because I'm acting weird and he's just giving me a weird look because of that, or that motherfucker has my underwear.
Right.
And he's 350 pounds, so I ain't saying shit to him because I'm
Right.
like, what, 165 soaking wet and half naked
He'll
right
body
now.
slam you.
Yeah, he's gonna fucking sit on me Rafiki style,
Yeah.
or like wrestler style. And
Andre the Giant.
yeah, I'm like, oh, let's do it. Hell yeah, celebration.
Celebration. 10 years. This is what we get.
We went to the Packy store and got a little pretzel and caramel.
This place blew my mind. We went to this liquor store. I guess it's like a convenience store.
It's
I swear to
mostly
God.
liquor. Let me see this.
Yeah,
Let me
I
help
know
you
what I'm
out.
doing. Use your teeth. My parents said to never use your teeth, so.
What do they know?
So this store had like, it was like a normal ass convenience store, except, well, do you want more pretzel or do you want more chocolate? Okay. Wow. I just got the hookup.
Don't eat him, so I'm like, be respectful of the audience.
I won't. Unless you want to transition this over to an ASMR podcast where they just like whisper and like chew in the mic, where they're like, yeah, so I'm going to eat this pretzel.
Wait, before you go forward, I now have a lock in my locker every time.
Okay.
Because fuck that. Some
So-
dude's sniffing my underwear right now.
Yeah.
Wrong.
He's still doing it at home.
Just wrong. Yeah, just
Yeah.
wrong.
So
I should sell them online.
this convenience store, I've never seen more nips in my life. And I've been to like the New Hampshire State Line liquor store. Jesus Christ.
No
you're
one
nuts.
saw nothing.
I see you. So this place had like, I swear to God, 2,000 nips for sale. It was like, you can buy them singles, you can buy them 10 packs, you can buy them like a fucking magazine holster, like an ammunition crate of
You're
nips.
welcome. Welcome
There's
to
like
time.
watermelon, cranberry fizz. There's like, I was mind blown.
There's
Because
a lot of nips.
Anthony was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the liquor, like go to the convenience store, grab some snacks and maybe like a nip for the
I should have said
podcast.
nip store.
And I was like, a nip? Does he mean a bite to eat? Does he mean like maybe some chewing tobacco? I'm like trying to think of what lingo he's saying. And then we walk in and it's like fucking palace of nips. Like I'm surprised that's not the name of the place. And I was like, oh, he means like an actual nip. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
want
then
to
we got some nips of kombucha. Fireball.
Yeah. Oh, so hey, actually, when I walked out, so after the spa / gym experience where my underwear were gone, I know I felt so violated. I was like, this is what girls feel like all the time. And I walked out, and there's a lady. She's got to be like in her 50s, and she's behind the counter. And I'm like, I walked by her, almost walked out the door, and then I stopped and I turned around, and I was like, walked back up to her, and I'm like, someone. This is a weird thing to say, but like, someone stole my underwear. And she just started laughing. She's cracking up, and I'm like, I know. That's what I kept saying. I know. And
You're
she's like, why would someone steal your underwear? I'm like, fucking beats me, bro.
For their fetish.
Yeah,
Their
like
weird fetish.
I know. I was like, I know. That's fucking
You're like,
weird.
man, people sell underwear on the internet.
Yeah.
Like dirty underwear.
She basically laughed me out of the place. She was like laughing at me the whole time. And like, I thought about it for a second. I'm like, I can't call the cops because like, what are they gonna do?
Dude, I
You
bet-
can't put cameras in
I bet
there.
you're the first person who was just willing to bring it up. I bet
I
the Undie Bandit has struck like 30 other dudes, and they're just like, I can't tell anyone about this.
I
This is
thought
too
of that.
embarrassing. I
Yeah.
can't say. They didn't steal my wallet. They didn't steal my money. I had $1,000 in my wallet. They didn't touch any of it. They just took my dirty undies, like my sweaty dirty
That
undies that I
smells
just
nice.
worked out in,
Yeah.
and they're probably huffing it like you think a guy has like a congestion issue. He's
He's
no,
in
he's
there.
huffing your dirty underpants.
Yeah. And then so she's laughs me out of there, and basically said all the questions I already said to myself. And then I was like, found out, I was like, all you gotta do is give them your keys and they'll give you a lock.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an amateur hour.
Yeah.
But now I found out, so now I get a lock every time. And
Oh, so
every
it's like a
time I go.
collateral thing.
Yeah, you just leave your keys with them, they give you a lock.
Now
you
he
don't
just,
get your
now he
underwear
just
stuff.
sniffs it through the locker grate. He's like long distance sniffing, just like he has a straw that he puts through the grate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was like that happened, and that made me feel very vulnerable.
Totally.
Very vulnerable, because I was picturing some creepy ass dude.
Yeah.
Just fucking looking at my ass crack, you
Hold
know.
on. My girlfriend's calling. I gotta tell her she's clearly not watching the live stream.
Handle your BI.
Kyle, we're podcasting live streaming right now. You gotta tune in. It's youtube.com/allineedskate.
Wait, can I talk or am I on the podcast?
No, you're on the podcast right
You're
now.
on air right now.
This is my girlfriend Kyle.
Oh, yeah,
We were
Kyle.
just talking about you.
Holy lit.
Is the name Kyle short for anything?
The name?
Yeah.
The name Kyle's actually short for Kylina.
No, it's not.
Oh, you liar.
Yeah, no, it's just Kyle. Kyle Bonus.
And that's so strange. I've never heard that as a lady's name.
I know. She gets that probably 3 times a day every day of her life.
What's the ethnicity, if you don't mind me
My
asking?
middle name is Lee, so it is Kyle Lee. So
Kyle-
I wasn't
Kylie.
going to help go
Ooh.
by Kylie if I wanted, but I
They
was
gave her the
just
option of like a.
asking, so.
They gave her the option as Kyle, or if she didn't want to be Kyle, she could be Kylie.
Is Lee the middle name, or is
Yeah.
it? It is. Ooh, they're creative. Your parents were creative.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, let them know you said that.
Yeah. Backing it.
Kyle, we should probably get back to our podcast. But what do you think about? What are your thoughts on Central Mass Skate Festival?
I think it's dope. Everyone should go. Watch some skateboarding, eat some peaches, go in the pond, hang out with Kyle.
Yes, disc golf, mountain biking. Harvard is amazing. There's like canoeing, peach
You don't
orchards.
even care about skateboarding, just come to Harvard.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
dude, skip the event and just do everything else. There's so much fun stuff.
You can drink too.
You can also drink
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Back that.
secretly, kind of.
Be an adult about it.
All right, Kyle. Well, I left you a voicemail about what camping stuff we need for this weekend, and I'm going to say bye, and I love you.
Alright, love you too. Bye, guys.
Bye, Kyle.
Sorry about that. I just thought that would be some comedic relief after
Perfect.
talking about undie sniffing.
Well, I'm glad we found out that it could be Kylie, because that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because Kyle as a girl's name just throws me off completely.
Yep.
Do you
There's a
call
lot
her
of times
Kylie?
where we'll go and she'll have like registered for something and we show up and they're like, Kyle, and they look at me and I'm like, that's Kyle.
Oh, yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that.
Yeah. Or someone will call her and be like, Mr. Bonus? She's like, hello. And they're like, can I talk to Kyle? And she's like, speaking.
Bonus is a pretty legendary last
Dude,
name, too.
Totally.
Right? That's sick, man.
Mike Bonus. It's my porn star name.
Yeah, you found a unicorn out there.
I sure did.
You got one, bro. Yeah, I'm no longer worried about the fucking gym anymore. All right, here we go. Perry Vlog says the undie thief should have the next board graphic. Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
Just a
idea.
guy just like full frontal, just like
Sniffing my undies, bro.
with like the wind.
Is it bad that my ego is instantly like, yeah, of course he wanted my underwear.
Yeah.
Is that
He
bad?
saw me. He saw me swimming.
How could he not want my underwear?
He saw these glutes in my swim trunks.
I got a pretty good backstroke.
Yeah,
you know
sure.
what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
How do you feel about swimming?
I love swimming. Although
You swim pretty good?
I passed level 6 at the town beach when I was probably 12 years old.
I didn't even know there were levels, so you're
Oh,
blowing
yeah.
my mind.
Oh, there's
bro.
levels.
Wow.
There's levels.
Interesting.
But my girlfriend, not to be a one-track whatever the saying
Fine,
is,
dude. Stop jocking Kyle, bro.
she was like a varsity swimmer in high school and then a varsity diver in college. So she crushes at swimming. She does triathlons and shit.
Wow.
And she'll always like do the swim as her strongest category at a triathlon because she just like smashes people in the swim.
Did you say swimmist?
No.
Oh, I misheard you.
She's a swimnist. It's like a gymnast, but for swimming.
Swimologist?
Swimologist, yeah. She has a master's and PhD in swimology.
Swimology 101
Yeah.
with Kyle Bonus.
So she likes to pretend that I don't know how to swim, which is false. I know how to
Jokes on
swim.
you.
I passed level 6. That's the second highest level. I'll have you know.
Good for you.
At the town beach with like a bunch of children. So, yeah. So you could say I'm like a professional.
Well, I was thinking about swimming the other day when I was at the spa gym. And I was like swimming, and I was like, I clearly don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know if anyone else does. You know, like maybe they just
Most
learned
people don't until someone starts doing the butterfly. The butterfly is the obvious way of like, oh my god, they know how to swim.
Yeah.
Because I've tried. Kyle's tried to teach me. It's impossible. It's not for mortals. Like I am pretty coordinated. I'm like athletic. I can do sports. I cannot figure out the butterfly. There's like a dolphin kick, and then you got to do like the arm motion, and it's really tiring even if you know how to do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you just feel like you're flopping like a fucking dead tuna, like in a net.
Yeah. I got a mean doggy paddle, and I can swim
Totally.
on my back and do like kick my legs and paddle on
You
the
do like
side.
the elementary backstroke.
Nah, I can't do that, but I just like
It's like the easiest.
yeah. No, I never tried, but I just do like a sideways thing, and then I kick my legs and I just stay afloat.
So you do like that.
The hardest for
It's
me.
like a backwards
Oh.
doggy paddle.
Earthquake.
Oh god.
See if that works. Oh, I'm back.
There we go. Closer to you.
Yeah, the thing I do is like, I'll swim, but it's hard for me to swim overhand and keep my head above water. That seems
You
really
don't-
hard.
That's not what you do. Though.
I can swim
You
underwater
keep
like
it
a motherfucker.
You keep it underneath and then you turn it to the
I
side.
can't do that.
Okay.
I've tried, and I always get water in my mouth or my eyes. I can't do
You
it.
should try the elementary backstroke. It's really easy.
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
And I'm gonna learn that shit.
All right.
I want to be
This is
good
not
at
the
swimming.
Mark Zuckerberg's actually in my headpiece. He's saying this is not a swimming podcast. You got to get back to skateboarding.
Suck it, Mark.
Suck it, Mark. This is a swimming podcast.
You're already in trouble, bro.
All I need is swimming.
Your platform corrupted our elections, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job with that, you
Yeah.
dick.
Thanks a lot, bro. Control
Thanks a
your
lot,
shit,
Mark
bro.
Trump Zuckerberg.
All right,
Fourth.
this leads us into a weird alley because we're about an hour and 30 in, so
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Oh, it stopped. Hold on.
That's not good.
No, that's fine. Stay with me though. 1 second, people.
Talking about deck changing? Oh, it cut off a while ago.
That's all right. We'll pick back up. And we're back for iTunes. YouTube's still here, so that's good.
All right,
Yeah.
so we dropped out our, what is it, iTunes?
iTunes cut off for a little bit there, but we're coming right back. All you missed was me talking about how my underwear got stolen at the gym.
Yeah.
If you want to hear about
Swimming.
that, you can go to the YouTube channel.
We
and
talked
check it
about
out.
how swimming is hard.
Swimming is hard.
So if you're listening on iTunes, this is Steve Jobs, I guess, kind of dicked us over on this one. It's really, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. We got Steve Jobs, R.I.P., and Mark Zuckerberg, and I mean, we can't win. But
We're an hour 30 into the podcast, and this is where we start talking ridiculous. And I'm down if you're down.
I'm down. But do we have anything important that we should talk about? Anything more important than Finding Nemo and Underpants?
Not really. So,
Correct.
so do you pay attention to politics at all?
Definitely.
Do you really?
Yeah, very much so.
That's good. How old are you?
29.
Amazing. I'm way older than you.
You know what? I've been told I'm an old soul, and this mustache adds at least 5 years.
I was gonna say you feel older, or at least the same age as me.
I got an old dad, and I just
An
my
old
sister's
dad.
older than my sister's 2 years older
How
than
old
me.
just said dad?
He's 84.
Oh, he's an old dad.
Yeah, I got an old dad,
Good
but
for
he's
him.
the man.
Yeah, it sounds like it. He produced you. He's doing pretty good.
He's had me when he was 55.
Politics blows my mind because
Yeah.
I'm
It's a weird, bad, dark time in politics right now because I think social media, just like retail, has kind of like changed the way that information is disseminated. It used to be like you could trust the media sources, which I think you still can because I think there's been a huge effort to discredit mainstream media, even though they're like full-time journalists who their whole job is to like thoroughly research stories and put out like corroborated, very deep dive journalism.
But also, it's a lot of opinions.
Sure,
now, too.
yeah.
People got real relaxed with like some of it.
For sure, but like there
Politics
are,
have become transparent now. We're
Right,
like, yeah, we
right.
know who pays you and who you're on.
but like
It's insane.
politics aside, I'm just talking the news sources. Like there is still very good investigative journalism that's fact based, that will guide you towards the truth. None of it is ever claimed to be like this is the universal truth. This is the only.
No one can have.
No one, but Fox News tries to tell you that like everyone else's lies. This is the one reality you need. And so it's this weird situation where we've got like everyone who sucks the pipe of the one news source that tells them that everyone else is wrong, and then you've got all these other news sources that are like for some reason needing to justify the fact that they actually are like trying to report on facts, but they're also like we're not trying to say like never in the history of time I think should people ever get their news from one source. Like the way that
definitely
a
not.
thinking human, like we're humans, we're graced with like higher level thinking. You should consume as much news, as much information as you can, and then boil it all down, think about it, and come to your own conclusion about what you deem to be the most accurate representation of reality.
Yeah, don't ever stop your ability to
Like
think.
it's literally called critical thinking.
Yeah, critical
They'll
thinking,
say that word
thank you.
1,000 times
Yeah.
in high school and college, and it's like,
Don't
I think-
believe shit wholeheartedly.
I
Make
think-
sure you question
and
it.
don't trap
Yeah.
yourself in an echo chamber. I think
Yeah.
right now, like because of social media, instead of like flipping on the TV and having the news come on and being like, I'm going to digest what comes in, I'm going to change the channel a few times, I'm going to hear all these different insights and opinion pieces and journalism, and I'm going to deduce like what I think is important. Whereas now it's like some people don't watch the news at all and or don't read any news stories, but they just go on Facebook. And if you follow fucking Breitbart Report and Donald J. Trump and this and that. Or on the other side, if you follow like Occupy Democrats and, you know, if you pigeonhole yourself, like now more than ever, you can create your own news channel.
There's two sides to every story, so
Right,
be
right,
open
totally.
to that. Yeah.
So if you choose the most extreme version of the reality, it'll border on non-reality. It'll be the most opinionated stuff. So my opinion of news is like find the most dead center news sources. Like I read a lot of Bloomberg Business Week and Bloomberg because especially Business Week, it's like The Economist but like way less dry and way less academic. But it's like if you look at any of the like bias chart reporting, it's the only one that's like pretty much dead center. There's no skew liberal or conservative. They just do like really analytical reporting. And I'm like, if I have only enough time to read like one weekly news magazine, I can at least trust that if I read through this, it's going to be like pretty decently on point.
Yeah.
And it won't show any favor one way or the other. But like also there's just been this thing like with Trump, it's like any negative news he calls fake news. Whereas like generally speaking, if you do something dumb, people are going to report negatively, and if you do something good, they'll report positively. Whereas now it's like a dictator move where you're like, nope, anything they say that's bad is fake. I only do good things. Like that's not true. History of the world, like if you do something bad, then people complain about it, and it's not fake. It's just like you did something stupid.
Yeah.
Like if you invade Iraq for oil, and three-quarters of the country's like, that's a bad move. Doesn't mean they're fake news. It just means like you shouldn't have done that. If you know, like, anyways.
There's some like.
The whole fake news thing, it's discrediting facts and creating a single stream version of reality that is provably false, to me, is hugely problematic.
Yeah.
That's
well,
where
I'll say there is some credit to throwing a monkey wrench into the system because there are like powers and people in politics that have been in place for so long, and a lot of us know that because we are like, for years we're just like, God, this is the same shit. There's a lot of wrongs that should be righted.
Yeah.
But the opposite of that is no good either.
Well,
and that's what we got now.
Like rejecting, like, yes, there are things that should be changed about the status quo, but rejecting facts and journalists,
not good. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Like
there's got to be some
like,
sort of understanding
and
truth.
Yeah, being like, oh, those are all the enemy of the state. Those are
that's infighting.
Yeah. Acting like news outlets are the enemy of the state and that they're only producing like falsehoods to damage you as a person is bogus to me. Like if you just disagree with one news source, just like don't read them, don't watch them. Like but don't pigeonhole yourself and confine yourself to a sort of like mini pseudo reality.
It's insane now because before there was Guardians of the Gates and they had the news and the TV and it was like these were the places you had to go.
Right.
And now it's like everything and anything, and you can find anything to support your theories. So it's like the Wild West, and people are off in their own worlds.
And people trust sources that have no credibility whatsoever. But because someone on the internet agrees with them and they can show a link that says, yes, I'm right, it's like, yeah, like you said, you create your own reality.
Just definitely, it's hard, man. I'm 36 and I've never voted.
Yeah, well, you should start voting.
You think, though?
I'm gonna tell you right here. No, I'm not gonna pat you on the back. I'm gonna grab you firmly by the shoulder and say, son,
flex a little.
Son, you need to vote. It's your duty.
Yeah, but come on.
It's your duty.
My problem.
Are you happy right now with the state of affairs? If not, you should probably vote.
All right, so here I'll give you my synopsis of my life in 30 seconds.
Okay. Good luck.
All right, so I was born into a world, chaos, broken family. Don't feel bad for me. It's part of life. It made me strong, critical thinking. It gave me a lot of good attributes.
Sure.
And but my family's been like, my dad was in a motorcycle gang, so literally a gang member. Passed away when I was 12. Mom lost to drugs and addiction. Part of the system, a capitalist system that made profit off of it.
Yeah.
Took it right in and figured out ways to like make money off of her brokenness. Plenty of potholes out there. And I was a kid just observing this, and we have no money. When you have no money, you don't give a fuck about politics because politics is for people that have resources that can
They're just trying to figure out how they can save more taxes.
Yeah, because they're playing the game. When you're not playing the game, politics doesn't fucking matter to you.
Unless you really need something like help paying for food.
Yeah, but like exactly. But even at that, you're still struggling, and even in that is a handout, and you're not proud of that.
Oh, sure.
You're just
you're
like,
not like
fuck.
showing off. You're not Instagramming your food stamps.
And when you're a 12-year-old kid and your mom's sending you to the fucking grocery store with food stamps to get fucking tampons and whatever food you need, you're just like, this is not something I'm super stoked on.
Sure.
I'm stoked to have it, but anyway, so politics has never really been on my radar.
Sure.
Because you got to have things to want to politic over it. Because there's a lot of people that are in control and power, they have resources, and that's why they're politicking and fighting, and they want you to go their way or believe their way or have whatever. So for the most part, not always, but.
At the same time, I think the problem with that is that it means that the decisions, the outcomes of politics are really important, and they touch everybody.
Super
and if it's only the people who have resources that care about politics, it means that the politics will be crafted around people who have resources. You know what I mean?
And a lot of the times, politics get corrupted by people that have resources, and they push everybody out, and then they're the game.
Right.
That's been that my whole life, though, Mike.
But I'm saying
that's why I've never voted.
That's why I think it's important for the people who don't have, the have-nots. You know, it's the haves and the have-nots. Like income inequality is becoming huge, and I think it's because of exactly what you're saying. Like if the people who have nothing don't vote, they're never going to vote for their own interest. The only people voting are the ones who have money, and their whole goal is not how to feed the poor, it's how to save their tax money so they can be richer, and so they can give more money to their kids. Yeah. But that's why politics is so important, because if you are...
Well, it remains to be seen, because like the game's been rigged for a while. We're waiting to see what's going on.
But the game is partially rigged by voter turnout. Like the most likely people to vote are white people over the age of 70 years old, because they're the most likely to have retirement money that they're trying to protect. They're voting for their own self-interest, and they
have enough free time and energy to fucking care.
And that's why there also should be a voting holiday, so you don't have to take time out of your work day, because if you have no money, you can't take time off work.
So the people that control it set it up for their win.
But that's the thing. But how can you blame the system when it's based on voting, and the people who need the help the most don't vote, and the people who don't need the help do vote? It's like, of course they're going to get their way because they vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's also, not to discredit you, but that's always been a cop-out my whole life, is people telling you to vote, and then
it's an easy way to assign blame.
And then they vote, and then they fucking go, oh, fucking Florida, and then we have to recount, he steals the election.
Right.
And it's like, if people with power don't let it go,
but like, think about how many retirees in Florida voted, and how many people who needed help and would have benefited from a different outcome didn't vote.
Do you mean to tell me that...
I'm not blaming it on the people who didn't vote. I'm just saying having the right to vote is powerful.
Do you think that people with the industrial complex, people that own missiles and go to war for money and profit, do you think those
want people to vote?
Do you think drug companies that have over-prescribed people, do you think people that lock people up for weed and shit, like private prisons or whatever, do you think those people are going to let go of their power because of a vote, or are they going to...
I think so. Yes, because they have to, but I think that's hear me out.
They have lobbyists and fucking money rules.
There's been there's a ton of effort by those people. It's called voter suppression. So those people work really hard to make it hard for the have-nots to vote. They require really intense voter ID restrictions. They request...
They do downright dirty shit.
They move around the polling locations so you never have the same place to go. They make minimal voting locations, and they minimize early voting. All of those things are literally designed to limit the number of people who can vote, because they know that if they make it really hard to vote, then the people who are in their team are going to be more likely to vote. So
that's politics in a nutshell there, Michael.
Yes, but my point is that yes, if they got beaten handily in an election, they can't just like there will still be some lobbyists who will switch teams and be like, all right, guys, do you want to buy our drugs?
I think they're all fucked now.
But if they lost the election outright, electoral college, popular, whatever, then they have to play by the rules. You can't like overthrow an election. It's still a democracy. But that's the whole reason that they work so hard to suppress voter rights and to make it hard to vote.
And it works. That's the truth of it.
Whenever they try to make it hard to vote, it's always people who have the least money and the least privilege who it makes it hardest for them to vote. And that's their whole goal. And that's the same, gerrymandering is a whole different thing, where they basically try to take all the people who are on their team and put them in one voter district so that they win. So that's also very proven to affect low-income communities way more disproportionately than rich communities. So both of those, yes, like they're basically guaranteeing themselves a win by making it hard to vote and putting all their votes in the same team. So that's why it's important to vote.
I love you. I'll say that preemptively.
Okay, I love you too.
I've never voted, and I feel proud of that, and that's fucked up to say. But
That is kind of
let me explain it.
Okay.
I told you my background, and
Sure.
I've seen that it's been pretty monopolized for a long time. And election after election, whether I voted either or, it was the lesser of two evils, which is not a choice. And but
not a good
that
choice.
being said, now I think I might vote.
Yeah, I will say, I think that's the biggest value of the whole.
Well, I might vote now because the paradigm shift, because
Yeah.
cable news and all these people that have power, the Foxes, the oil companies, the pills, they bought up all the media. This is testimony that we have power, is just doing
Totally.
this podcast, and
Absolutely.
people can connect and spread
It's
ideas.
very-
And the internet makes me want to vote, because I'm like, if we
Yeah.
have a true democracy and people have great ideas, not just fucking lesser of two evils,
Right.
Hillary Clinton or Donald fucking Trump that have special interests, and I'm told to vote for either or, that I don't care about either of their fucking interests,
Yeah.
then it's like, that's not a fair game to me, and I'm not voting for either of those assholes, because the majority of people don't have the
Yeah, cards are
resources or
stacked.
time to fucking vote for their interests.
Right.
I'm hoping that with the internet, it's like the neural, like the
Network.
brain, we're connected. We built
totally.
this network
Yeah.
that we can spread
is-
true
it is
ideas
a
that
way-
can actually help every human,
Totally.
not just fucking certain people. Because just the idea of having to vote against you.
Yeah.
I like you.
Well,
Just because you have
that's
different interests,
why-
I gotta vote against you. For me, that's
Yeah.
ruthless to me.
And I
It's
think
like, can't we coexist and make this work? Like,
yeah. I mean, that's why I think
There should be a
social
way.
media is so valuable, because just like for me, the biggest tool for me to get people, for me as an organizer, to organize, social media is a huge asset, because it makes it
Oh,
likely for
yeah.
me to build that neural network
Yeah.
and to tap into it and find people who are like-minded and bring them all to one place.
Yeah.
It's already proven to be the same thing with protests. You know, if you want to say, hey, we disagree with this thing, really, we really disagree
Oh, that's true.
so much that it hurts us. Let's show people that this is fucked up. We're not going to stand for it. So social media allows people to organize in political means too. So I do think it's good, and I also think the way that it's gotten to be such a shit show the past couple of years, people finally, like, the consequences of their apathy about voting finally got hammered home. It's like, if you don't vote for long enough, or if you just let shit kind of fester, and you let the worst, if you let the worst in people, I'm not.
The
Don't
apathy
take this
part
wrong.
is where I disagree, but go ahead.
But basically, if
Because
people,
the apathy part makes sense to me. If anything, the
Right.
only reason why Donald Trump got elected is because the media, there's new media. The
Right.
online
that's what I'm
has
saying.
allowed him to reach a different audience
Right.
compared to controlled
Right. So
media. where
the
you're
people who were part of the normal controlled media, like, got so bored of it and so disengaged, and politics didn't feel like it
Or
affected
entitled.
anybody.
entitled.
They just felt like this is working out well for me.
It's worked
So
for a
who
long time.
cares?
Yeah.
So I think finally the people who do care but weren't involved, or for some reason, you know, like, traditional media wasn't speaking to them, they realized, like, man, if we let this wildfire run, and the people who care the most are the most likely to vote, and if the thing motivating them to vote is the fact that they don't want immigrants in their country, or they really want to have guns, like clearly there's a few things that really, really united some people, like abortion rights, or
No.
like pro-life. There's certain things that,
What are you
like,
saying about Donald Trump's election?
yeah, but I'm just saying in general, like, the way that elections work and the way that the parties have kind of become more and more divided. They've
Yeah.
become, like, there are single issue voters who, like, no matter who you are as a candidate, you could have killed 12 people, but if you say, I will never allow women to have abortions, then they'll have my vote. And if you're someone who's like, I have 2,800 guns, I am a huge Second Amendment Bible thumper, someone who says, I will fight for gun rights till the end of time, you're like, cool, I don't care. I literally don't care what else you do. You could say in Appendix C, like, I kill every baby that's born in our country. You'd be like, but you love guns. So, like, you know, like, I'm making it kind of like,
I get it.
I'm exaggerating, but there are things that unify people. And I think people who care more about, like, women's rights and, like, welfare and income equality, those were not as unifying because there are a lot of different candidates that say like, yeah, we believe in these things because they're kind of like Hakuna Matata, like yes, everyone should have food on their table and like not die, but that's not motivating enough to go to the polls or to say like,
there's
or to
too
say
much
like,
deception involved.
and there's
That's
like,
the problem.
and there's also like, there are a lot of people saying that same message, so it's hard to get people to be like, we agree on this person. Whereas if you speak strongly enough towards the things that you know are guaranteed to get people on your team, like religion, abortion, pro-life, Second Amendment rights, and immigration, like those are the 4 fire rod, like lightning rod things that those have captured the same kind of group of people. So I think what's sort of woken people up to the fact that like, unless you have a really compelling story to tell, like we don't want kids killed in abortions, we want to have our guns, we want to save American jobs, like you can tell a pretty compelling story that's going to make a lot of Americans with good reason be like, yeah, that sounds good. So if you're a Democrat, you don't have something equally compelling, like get ready for 4 more years of it, So I think it's woken a lot of people up to the reality of like, this is how politics works. Yes, you can deceive people on social media. Yes, you can like pull at people's heartstrings with some maybe not so true stories, but like there's a reason people believe deeply in those things. They care really strongly about those topics.
Dude, smart politicians know that. They panic
Right.
to them.
But unfortunately right now like that's a really strong story that's all unified in the right, and I think the left is kind of floundering like 16 candidates who are like
20 over 20.
Over 20. They're like, they don't know what the fuck to say because like they're like, what's compelling? Like I think they landed on healthcare is like important. Like people should be able to afford to go to the hospital.
I've listened to every candidate, at least 3 of their interviews.
Yeah.
At least each of them.
And like,
some more.
A lot of them have got a lot of good things to say. A lot of them sound exactly the same, cookie cutter. Some of them are kind of like stupid and like, why are you part of this conversation? But it's like,
was it the Who song? Don't get fooled again.
Yeah, exactly.
I always feel that way.
But
is that fair?
Yeah.
All right.
But the long story short, I think is like the plus side of having some regrettable and like reprehensible politics happen in the last few years that I think have taken America kind of like out of the world stage, or at least like taken away our position as like the trusted world superpower. Like we're kind of more of a laughingstock for many reasons now. Maybe. We're still super important.
I'm sure they got him scared. Donald Trump has everyone scared.
Sure. Yeah, because he could nuke his neighbor. He could is trying to start a war with Canada. It's like, dude, they like make maple syrup and Canadian bacon.
Let them have their
finals. They're chill.
Let them have their finals.
Like it's cold up there.
I'm not like super like, I'm not really political, so
I was just wanting my way to saying that
political.
I think because of the dumpster fire that it's been, the plus side is a lot of people my age
are aware,
who didn't vote, who never cared, are like, oh man, like they're like keeping up on politics.
The only reason why I give a shit, and I'm not even like anti-Trump by any means, because I know I've watched from as a.
There's a reason he's succeeding. He's saying a lot of things that people believe strongly in.
Well, don't feel sorry for me when I say this, because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm a poor kid who's never been political because I've been worried about base survival and like family issues and mental health and things like that you're trying to control. Politics to me is like for people that are like ahead of winning the game and they can play the game. Most people are base survival,
which I
trying
think
to figure out how to get day by day.
Politicians are happy that that's how you felt because
I know,
that's what they want you to do.
That's fine, but they're not going to give me a seat. But the only reason why I paid attention is because I heard that dude Andrew Yang, and like to me everything he said made sense as far as like changing the structure, giving people a fucking basic needs UBI where they cover their needs and like it transcends. And I'm still not like fully sold because I'm completely scared. What's that?
Daily Show. This is on topic. Daily Show saying local vote is more important. We need more people to vote locally. That's absolutely true because that's the thing. People only think that like the presidential election is the only election that
you
exists.
Pay attention to more.
Dude, it all boils up from the bottom. Like if you're not like, how many people actually vote for who's their town selectman, who's their local governor, who's their state senators, who's their, their state controller. Like those are such boring to many people, boring things. Like Department of, like the Secretary of State and the Department of Environment and Drug Control. Like those are all local elections that no one votes in except for the people who really care. And the ones who are the most like, it's like Yelp reviews. People don't write a review saying, Yeah, it's pretty good. I had the tacos. They were decent. They say, my name's Karen. I lit this building on fire because it was so terrible. Or like, you know, it's like either 5 stars, like glowing review, or like 1 star negative. So this voting's the same way. Like in your local elections, you've got the guy who like is going to fight to the bitter end. So he gets a permit to build his retaining wall for his new beach house. And then you've got the guy who's like, you know, trying to build a new weed store in town and they just legalize weed. So he's like, you know, it's the people who really, really care who vote locally. But if more people who are just regular ass people voted, that's what determines, like, those are the candidates who, if they succeed as a selectman, then they run for governor, then they run for senator, then they run for president.
Yeah.
So yeah, Daily Show, you nailed it. Local elections are super important.
So even like Donald Trump, like because I'm pretty open-minded about all this thing, and I almost feel like he's what we needed. In a bad way, in a good way too. I'm like, he's
a catalyst.
He threw a monkey wrench into the system, but I don't even think that's because of the internet. I literally think Trump got voted because of the internet.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
The media that had control and the powers that had control, the internet exposed a lot of all the gnarliness with the private prisons, the drug companies, and all these atrocities that happen to humans.
Right. I think he's
for money and profit, where you put money above humans.
Right.
That's where you're like, okay, now you guys are just hanging on. You're just hanging on to power and control.
Right.
You've rigged the game because you care more about material money than actual human lives.
It's funny because it's hypocritical coming from him, but.
No, I know, but that's why I say like he might be the worst and best thing because he's playing the game so well, savvy, but he's fucking evil.
in his whole career, like a lot of his business ventures have failed, but the one thing that he's always been good at doing is marketing. Like he knows how to seize on something.
Well, that dude Andrew Yang saying like, and I don't know any of this. I'm just a skateboarder, but I'm tuning in and listening to tons of interviews. He's saying what Trump did was go around. Because what he's saying basically is they just lied to the people. There's industrial revolutions that have happened and we sold the jobs off and all this stuff and they just told people it's because of immigrants, it's because of racism.
Right, sure.
He went around and pandered to all those places where jobs are lost, so he got all their votes. That's the majority of people that lost their jobs.
Well, that's what I'm saying about marketing.
They sold it off. Yeah.
He's very savvy at
instead of being
seizing
honest.
an opportunity.
Yeah, which is
and unfortunately it's vulture-like, and a lot of times it's not based in reality. Like he'll say, you know, he ran on all his campaign on bringing jobs back, but he's, you know, it's the same rate of attrition that has been happening, has continued to happen.
Yeah.
But he's very good at realizing, like, oh, this is like one of those heartstrings, deep core American values, and if I preach to this choir, they're gonna love me for it.
Yeah.
And if I scream lock her up and say I'm gonna save your jobs and fuck the Mexicans for stealing your jobs, that kind of thing, like it's gonna work. He knows how to play the game. There's a reason that The Apprentice was more successful than his first 10 fucking real estate investments. Because it's like that's a marketing PR. That's his strength.
He can
spin a tale.
But the guy who's willing to do that shouldn't have that position. Because human lives worth more than playing a game.
You would hope that
it's worth more than playing the game.
Totally, and that's why I think like this.
But the problem is people that want power vote.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I know.
That's why the people who don't want power should also vote, so that doesn't happen.
I'm hoping that there's a way that you could connect to everybody and make it super easy to vote. Yeah, super easy for anyone to vote. Because instead of rigging the whole game and making it super hard, make it as easy as possible and as transparent as possible, so people could just vote, and then you'll see the actual analytics.
You're talking a lot like a Democrat right now.
I know, but I'm not. I also I love capitalism. I love hard work. I love benefiting from hard work. I don't want to give everyone free shit because I know people have to work for it to actually value it.
I think it's a shame that things like voting access are partisan in the first place. Like the fact that, like I sort of said that as a joke, because for some reason right now making it easy to vote is a Democratic issue.
Yeah.
But like, shouldn't everyone want it to be easy to vote? Like we live in a democracy. Why is that fucking partisan? Why is the right to vote political?
It's easier to whack the beehive, cause confusion, and then keep control. Because that's what they want. They want people confused, dumb, on drugs.
Shouldn't everyone agree that like everyone should be able to vote unless you're like a gnarly convicted felon who's still in prison? Like even cons should be able to vote because they've done their time. They put in their time in the clink, and they're out.
Redemption.
They have
is a
another
powerful
chance in
thing.
life.
Yeah.
But like, yes, if you murdered someone, if you beat your
There's
wife
lines.
chronically,
There's
like
lines.
maybe don't vote.
Yeah.
But everyone else, like, why would anyone not want a legal U.S. resident to vote? I don't know.
Because you want to control. You want to
You
keep
want to
your
keep
control and
power
power and
because it's
influence.
working right now. You want it to keep working.
But I'm down for capitalism. I'm not trying to sound like
Dude,
I'm
absolutely.
some socialist.
I
or
run a
whatever,
for-profit business. I sell 8 different brands. Those only succeed because of capitalism. But there are ways for that to coexist with welfare and people having decent living standards.
All right, so I'm gonna go way out there, and
All
don't listen to me because I'm just a
I'm
skateboarder.
just gonna go off screen for a second.
That's fine. But so I'm a firm believer that like if we're trying to transcend and move forward, we should cover people's basic needs, right? Because dude, right now people can barely even get by because the game's so rigged and it's like so far there's gonna be so many losers, especially with automation as it comes. There's gonna be so many losers. And the game is so hard to play, man. I run a small business and like you do too. You understand what it takes to
Absolutely.
do. Dude, 10 years. You've put more work in than most
And I lost
people.
money last year.
You've put in so much work. And think about your peers that just like didn't do anything and they just work a job or whatever. And think about how much you've been treading water just to stay afloat.
Mm-hmm.
Where you could have just worked a normal job and scraped by.
Yeah.
And you're an entrepreneur that's working hard to like keep things going at the risk of everything.
Yeah.
The game is really hard to play.
It's a hard game.
And it takes like a superhuman person to even maintain what you have been able to maintain.
It's been, yeah.
Is that fair to say? Because
Totally.
I know like
Totally.
half my hair loss is genetics, the other half is
Yeah.
a lot of stress and hard work and like hope and praying.
Yeah, totally.
And like, so if the game's that hard, we're fucking lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we gotta be able to, we gotta at least. If we're going to be more than human, then we have to cover our basic needs so people can breathe and get up from underwater.
And I think you
like,
hit the nail on the head. Like, if you could summarize my political beliefs in like the most basic of things, it's that everyone should have the right to live a decent life, and
especially in the best country in the world, supposedly,
Totally,
most
totally.
prosperous,
If we're the
$20
richest country
trillion
in the world,
economy, supposedly, right?
So like,
Where's that?
forget all
going?
the stupid like.
And I work hard and make a decent living.
Totally.
Yeah.
So like, forget all the minutia. Just like everyone should be able to live a decent life, and in order to do that,
without killing yourself and having 3 fucking jobs
right.
and not being able to see your family or your kids and doing a half-ass job because you have to struggle to
Right.
keep a job that's not even one you give a shit about because it's just the only
Right.
job around.
And in order to, so everyone should have a right to a decent life, and in order to do that, everyone needs to pay their fair share. That's it. Like that's, like, there are things that no one, like the whole point of the public sector is that it delivers services and goods that no capitalist would ever be the water utility because it's a money-losing money hole. But everyone needs clean drinking water. That's why government exists.
Yeah.
Like
there's some
delivering
things,
electricity. Like the government exists for a reason. If you're super, super poor and you can't get a job and you were born as a fucking crack baby or a prenatal, alcoholic, whatever, I forget what it's called.
Anthony,
Yes.
basically.
If you're Anthony and
I'm not mad about
and you
it.
need help for
I survived.
and you need help just to get on your feet.
Well, to
like-
get past your fucking own thoughts and your own wiring because things were shattered
just to
and
be able
fucked
to
up.
literally to be able to eat
Figure
baby
out
formula
reality.
as
Yeah.
an infant, like
Yeah.
you weren't doing crack in the womb.
No.
Someone else. I'm not saying crack. Basically,
Fair enough, though.
it's in order to provide those things that like Monsanto's not going to be like, let's give free baby formula away. So and no company's going to say like let's have 12 different competitors
Unless you
providing
change the
electricity.
game.
But
Unless you change the game sometimes.
but I think you would agree like everyone should be able to have a decent life. But that's what you were saying. And
Yes.
in order to do that, like if you make a shit ton of money, pay a little more taxes. If you make no money, pay a little less taxes. Taxes have to exist in order to pay for the electricity, the clean drinking water, but people should only pay what they can afford. No one should have an undue burden on them because if you can barely pay your rent, why are you going to siphon off half your pay? But if you have 20 billion,
your IQ too, and you can't even think straight. And
but yeah, and if you have
one
more
bill.
money, then you're more likely to be able to afford education, which affords you more job opportunities, which is good for the economy. So capitalists should like having opportunity, even for the less fortunate, because it's good for the economy and it creates jobs. And if you make $20 billion a year, you should probably pay more than like 10% taxes. I think that's like Warren Buffett, one of the richest dudes in the world, has been preaching to the choir about like, I'm rich. He's like, I'm rich as fuck, and I wish they taxed me more because society is messed up. And someone like me, I have more money than God. I couldn't spend my money if I tried. I could buy everything I saw every day, all day, and I would have more money than I know what to do with. So
I think it's even the aim's missing with that one, because the thing I realized is that like people set up businesses to chew people up. Like the prisons where you lock people up and you demonize a drug that's not even, we all know it's like nothing, and then you lock tons of people up and break up family structures. Or like the drug companies that sell you a bunch of drugs and over medicate you instead of getting you actual help.
Well, dude, now you can go to
they set up profit-driven businesses that are anti-human, and that's when you have to change the game.
That's why healthcare should be
something where you make money for building people up. You make money helping humans. Humans create the only wealth there is. Things mean nothing without humans. That's my whole argument. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, if we're gonna put pennies over human lives, then you're gonna do gross things to people.
It seems obvious that profitability should not be derived from people who are super sick and dying. But that's the problem with privatized healthcare. 100% privatized healthcare is that if you're a drug company, like, not to get into econ theory, but inelastic demand is like, elasticity is based on how willing you are to pay for something. If something's super, like a luxury good, like a Rolex watch, if you lose your job and you lose half your money in a divorce, you're way less likely to spend all your money on a Rolex, you know? But if same circumstances, but you're dying of fucking leukemia, it doesn't matter that you can't afford it. Like, your choices are to die or to spend all your money that's left to save yourself. That's why I think healthcare that's privatized is problematic, because the inelasticity of the demand means that your people have to pay. It's like literally life or death. So to have, but the problem is when something's that inelastic, it means you can charge higher and higher prices. Because if you're like, wait, this dude's gonna die, he's probably willing to pay more than $100. Like, why don't I charge him $1,000? Because who cares? He's gonna find the money somehow.
Yeah, someone.
So let's charge him more. That's why it shouldn't be purely privatized, because it's literally just leeching off of the most hurt and sick and dying people. So I think we're in agreement. Like,
we definitely are in agreement.
Healthcare should be less fucked up.
I think that a lot of the businesses should restructure and try to help humans instead of make money off of building potholes where they'll fall into it, and then you turn that into a business. Because that's what happened to my mother.
Yeah.
She was a lost person, and a lot of it was her own demise because but things happened to her that were out of her control as a child. And she got lost, and she got wired wrong, and she had bad patterns, and she fell into it. And then she was like self-medicating and like running from all the shit. And she was partly a victim, but she was partly a willing participant.
Yeah.
And people knew that, so they fucking built a business around that, a welfare system,
There's a reason the Sackler family, which makes oxycodone, is being sued for like 20 million, or like, it's crazy.
That's like the extreme of capitalism when it's gone so anti-human.
It's like unfettered.
It's anti-human. You know, you're like, Jesus Christ,
Low Tide Lumber Co. said, heard a crazy thing on the radio today about a super high percentage of immigrants with STEM degrees, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, I think. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, love your brother. I mean, that's like, if you're into religion, I mean, didn't Jesus say like basically accept everybody because your neighbor is it's like the most important thing. Doesn't matter what they look like, where they're from. Immigrants a lot of them are the ones getting these crazy degrees that are going to design the next software that solves the next huge problem, or going to design the next drug that cures cancer. Like, you can't hate everyone who doesn't look like you, because that might be the guy who saves your life.
I don't think we can get to the notion of immigration until we learn how to take care of our own people.
But it's all tied into the same thing. Like, if you're trying to take care of your own people.
But I'm just like looking around at some of the ghettos and hoods around here, and I'm like, they don't even give a shit about the people that live in this country. Why are they going to give a shit about?
Michigan.
Yeah, you're like, why are they going to give a shit about immigrants? It's a scapegoat. The real truth is you're not doing what's right for beings,
Right.
not just humans. Humans are a culture, it's
But
self-created.
if someone's
But
fleeing
beings, we're all beings. Like,
I mean, but how can you hold it against someone who maybe they're in Syria and their house got bombed
no,
in
you're
a
gonna get
civil
the
war?
fuck out of there. That's what America was for. Everyone
Right.
came here
That's
and
how
just
we all
like
got
found
here.
their own fucking.
Totally.
Not me. I was born here.
So
but
like,
a lot
you
of
don't want
people
your family to
before me.
die.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna demonize you because you're trying to like.
But that's
find
like
refuge.
that's a hard issue to talk about when
Yeah,
they can't
that's
even
a-
take care of our own fucking place.
Totally.
Like, there's a lot of
Totally.
places in America that you're like, dude, let's figure out what's right for the people that are under the Constitution at the moment, and then we can worry about that.
Totally.
But we can never get to that because they're too busy arguing and causing confusion because they don't want to relinquish some of their fucking control and power or
Right.
admit error. It's like just. But I'm hoping that at least with the internet we can communicate, and the internet. Maybe I'm fucking naive and stupid or whatever. I hope not, but like. We'll see this election, and I'm sure everybody thought that every election, but this one I'm kind of like, maybe that the internet exists, maybe that it will actually bring some change and will actually make some progress, and maybe I'm just optimistic about it.
No, I think you're right, and
we'll
and I
see.
think there's been also some really good like internet-based video pieces that sort of shine a brighter spotlight on some of these things.
Yeah.
Daily
For
Show
sure.
was saying one of the worst things is check cashing businesses. So I was just talking about inelasticity of demand. So people who really need something are going to pay more for it, right? Because they have to. So someone who's desperate for money, they'll go to a payday loan place because they're like, look, first of all, they probably don't know what 21% compounding interest that
They don't
compounds
care.
once a week. But even
They
if
need it. They don't care. They need it.
so first of all, they probably don't care. So they're willing to pay. They're like, I don't care that it's a bum deal because I need the money now.
Yeah.
And the other side is they probably don't read the fine print or can't afford to even care about what 21% compounding once a week means. Because like, that's the thing you get. Like, if you need help the most, you're going to be the most likely to fall into one of those potholes. Because
Easily.
if you need the cash, you go to a payday loan place, you'll pay the fucked up, or you'll pawn your wedding ring as collateral and then end up owing a ton of money because you're like, you're trapped in this like gnarly leeching system. So yeah, I mean, it's hardcore. So I think the sad thing, I think this is all goes back to the political thing where the people who have money aren't going to vote against things like check cashing, like pharmaceuticals, because those make them money.
Yeah,
so,
why would they
so
shut
that's
down their
right.
own business?
So you got to kind of like, people need to reclaim control of, like, it's a democracy, which means the people choose. So people need to
Well,
like.
it's supposed to be democracy.
It's supposed to
and
be.
It seemed like it's been rigged
And there's
for long
there's
time.
definitely a lot of rigging factors that it just means you have to fight extra hard. You got to organize amongst yourselves extra hard. You got to go to Central Mass Skate Festival, talk about politics. You got to bring it all back to the first
Come to the All I
topic.
Need podcast.
Come to the All I Need podcast where you can hear Anthony talk about politics and universal basic income and stuff like that.
And I'm not sold, dude. I'm not fucking sold. But I do believe in humans more than money.
I'm not sold.
I believe
but I'm
in
not-
humans
yeah,
more than money.
Totally.
Like, if I had to choose, I think humans are worth more than money. So,
Absolutely.
and I think most people aren't inherently evil or greedy or, I mean, we all are born with issues.
There's some
but
dumbasses out there, but most people, the vast majority, are inherently
They
good.
want to do good.
Yeah,
We want to
totally,
do good. And
totally.
if the system's too fucked up and too hard and too like stacked against the majority of people, then that's when you end up with a system of
That's the
fucking
thing.
very
People get
little
people
winners
get
and a lot of
demoralized.
losers. Yeah.
Like, the best thing that the people in power can do, the biggest win they can have, is to make you so bummed out and so dispirited and to feel like you have no power. Like, that is their
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
Is for you to think.
That's why I said local, right? 'Cause
Right,
It's like you
right.
got the power within
And
your
that's
local
why I
ability.
think the biggest thing they want is for you to feel like, man, I don't even need to vote because I'll never have an impact. Like, that's literally them winning because they just killed your fucking soul and they made you think, I'm just gonna be on the suck on this my whole life, and it's a twisted system that I have no way to succeed in. It's true to a certain extent. There's a lot of powers against you, but they want you to think that. Like, those people want you to think that you have no say because that is their win. Because you know what? Every fucking one of their friends and every one of their other retirees and everyone else who they know who has money, guess what? 100% of them are voting. And it's because they care about their interest and they want you to not care about yours so that they can keep the voting pool in their favor.
Well, I'm good. I'm glad for them. But when you're born into a situation,
No, I get it.
when
I
you were
know what
born in
you're
a
saying.
situation like me, dude, it was just like politics is a luxury.
Totally.
So like literally day to day was insanity. Donald Trump's not even phasing me, dude.
But you know what?
I mean, like,
I think it's a luxury because you gotta take off work. You gotta, like, in other countries it's not a luxury. It's just like a duty. It's like an expectation because they have a holiday. No one's got to work. They have polling places everywhere. You don't even have to have a state ID. You have to be a legal resident. You got to be on like some sort of list. But like everyone votes, or they have much higher voter turnout because it's easy to vote. It's expected to vote, and every vote counts. So I think that's why those are the things we got to fix. We got to make it like no one has to go to work. Vote on a Sunday. Vote early. Vote at every single corner. There should be some sort of little
You're
vote.
a socialist, dude.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just
That's
telling.
what they'll say.
I'm just telling people
Fuck
they should be able to
you,
vote.
Socialist.
God damn it! If
Distribution, redistribution, blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
not even saying redistribution.
Even good ideas that they
man.
say.
I know. That's the thing. They just love to throw around. I'm literally just advocating for people being able to vote. And if that's socialism, then fuck me.
I know it's not.
It's crazy.
But that's what I feel.
No, I know.
Like you can't even speak up without being like.
That's the problem. They've taken certain buzzwords to just basically discredit anything, even that's valid. They'd just be like, you just say the word socialist or deep state or whatever, and then it's like that good idea. Everyone just starts cheering like, "Hey, he's a fucking socialist," and then you're just like, they don't even listen. But I'm just literally telling people they should vote.
Let me state this. I love this country, and I grew up in this country.
We got a deep dive here.
We did, and it's good. I grew up in this country, and I grew up knowing that my country was lying to me, and that there's tons of pitfalls, and that people with no money and dysfunction are about to become products in some sort of system because it happened to my family. And I've avoided all this through just like fear and hard work and like just trying not to make the same mistakes and just being like, look, if I can just keep my head above water long enough, I'll be able to fix my own brain, figure out what I'm doing, and hopefully be able to do it. But so many people have so many issues, and a lot of issues aren't even their fault. They've been pushed on them. Society is kind of like set it up. There's too many fucking businesses out there that are set up to screw people. It's fine, like whatever. That's capitalism. People are like, but we need to like care about humans, you know? I know humans could be the worst thing ever and they can be the best thing ever, but like we can't take advantage of people. You know what I mean?
I wasn't laughing. I'm just I got a little baby cough.
All right, enough about politics.
Yep.
But I'm glad you were talking to me about this because, dude, most people don't have these conversations, and it's hard to talk about because you can't believe anything without a whole fucking social movement against you or calling you an idiot.
And I think you can kind of tell. I'm not trying to push a certain agenda. I'm just like, people should not die because they're poor. People should be able to buy food.
Humans create the wealth.
To vote.
The money means nothing if we have no fucking humans.
We tried dictatorships, didn't go so well. Democracy's all we got.
Our only thing that creates anything is imagination and creativity, and that comes from the human heart and brain.
Totally.
And that's nothing to do with money.
Let's just treat each other right.
I heard something today. It was like, you're not born, you're...
Speaking of treat each other right, Daily Show wants to know if all I need is hiring.
Not at the moment. I like your enthusiasm.
Bro, where's your universal hook a brother up with a job at all I need skate income?
Yeah, right. No, the jobs go to the team riders.
Takes money to make money.
Evan came over today, and I paid him to help me count inventory, carry a bunch of heavy boxes, because he helps promote the brand, and he's the face of the brand, and I was able to give him a day of work because I love the guy. And he helps build all I need up.
Yeah.
You know, he understands it. And that's where the dudes that help build the brand like that, I pay him. I'll pay him once a week to help me produce the podcast or do whatever, ship out whatever. Yeah. Like, the dream doesn't work unless we do.
It's gotta be deliverables. You gotta work together.
The dream doesn't work unless we do.
Totally.
I'm one dude who's like, I'm adamant about work. I tell people all the time, like, dude, work hard. We're supposedly, like, because I grew up in the fucking projects, or in the projects, it's a lot of defeatism. It's people that see the bullshit because they're poor, so they can't play the game, so they see all the games rigged against them.
Those are the people who need to vote locally, because, like, they won't, if you're living in Mass, Daily Show was pointing this out, and I was sort of alluding to this. If you live in a state like Mass, they're always going to vote a certain way for the national elections, but that means like the only difference you can really make for it as a Massachusetts resident is locally. So like, flex your vote where it counts. You should still vote in the national because there's also like senators and other stuff that is a little more influential and like can change.
But like, don't vote just because someone tells you. Only vote if you hear ideas that you agree with and you think.
But basically, you're more likely to have an impact like in a swing state, everything's super important. You should care about everything as long as you feel like it's important.
Yeah.
But in a state like Mass, it's probably not going to change from blue anytime soon. But like all the local elections change. You could have two people running. You know, it could be like a local. Like I lived in Cambridge for a while.
Yeah.
Super blue, progressive, eco-friendly, everything. But like you could have two people running for one really important government environmental job, and one of them believes in like citywide composting and renewable energy, and the other thinks that like bikes are bad for the environment and cars should rule. Like that's a really important decision. It's a small community, but there's still, I don't know, 50, 75,000 people, and one of them, like we actually, when I was living there, they instituted curbside free composting, which I, as like a super environmental sustainability like passionate advocate, for me it was huge. I'm like, oh my god, I'm living in a place where they'll fucking come take my food scraps and bring them somewhere, turn it into really fertile soil, and then I can go get that for free. It's like the most beautiful, like reducing landfill waste. The city is spending its own tax dollars to make the world a better place. And that's because enough people locally voted for someone who believed in that vision. If the people hadn't cared or hadn't voted, and some guy who was like, bikes are the devil and landfills are fine, like this is all a bunch of hubbub about nothing, like that person could have gotten voted in and they would have had none of that stuff. So it's like, it's super important. Even if it doesn't change who the president is, everything has an impact. So it's important. And the more you know about it, the more you care about it, I think. Like, I literally think knowledge is the key to the power. Like, the more you know, it's almost guaranteed that if you know more about a situation, you're going to feel more deeply about it.
I don't know if voting works, but I know that the power of an individual, a person that educates themselves and pays attention, and like, I've never voted, so I'm a hypocrite, but I've tried really hard to work hard, to stay optimistic, to avoid these pitfalls, to get intelligent enough to not fall into them like other people, to be aware enough, and to connect with the people around us. So I believe that we definitely all have sovereignty, and we can work really hard, and we can solve a lot of problems just in our own backyard, in our
Especially if we
own
work
cities,
together.
in our own things.
You can't lift a heavy weight solo. Like,
Yeah.
it works a lot better. Like, many hands make quick work, and that's true of everything, from your job to doing events to running a company. Like,
We're powerful
work,
creatures.
yeah,
We can
work
be.
with people.
We choose
We're a
to
lot
be.
better with a team.
Yeah.
They didn't make the pyramids with one dude.
And I have a theory. It's like generational. So new people come in, right? They're new to the world. They're coming into the world that was created by someone before them.
Right.
So it's a world they might necessarily not agree with because they're the next iPhone or next generation. So they're like, yeah, there's mistakes and you want to inherit the world. And then you hit a certain age, where 20 to 30, and you start to become the person that, like, you know, you pay your taxes, you start your family, you connect with your community, you start to inherit the world around you and whatnot. You build the industry or whatever. And then as you get older, you turn into fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And then some of you dinosaurs realize
Your
that
priorities change.
yeah, but some of these dinosaurs, they do realize, or they don't realize, that the industry and the way they've built their living is off of the backs of humans, and they don't want to let go of the power,
Well,
or
also, I think-
they don't want to admit error in their way and let it go for the next people to come behind them.
Also, if you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and you're young and you have the realistic, like in our lifetimes, I think global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it.
I'm letting
like,
it all go when I'm 70, 80,
Well,
90.
here's the thing.
Done.
Like,
you can have it. I'm
if you're
done.
in your 20s, you're gonna care a lot more about something like climate change, if you believe in it, which you should, because it's science.
Yeah.
It's stupid not to. But you'll care more about that because the consequences of it are going to affect you in your lifetime, or definitely in your kid's lifetime.
Yeah.
If you're 80, you have to be philanthropic to still care about that, because more than likely, if you're 80, who fucking cares about the world burning? You want to make sure you don't run out of money before you die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, priorities change generationally, and when you're young, you have the luxury of caring about the long term. When you're old, a lot of people who are old and have money and care, and they're good people who are philanthropic, do still invest in those things. But the vast majority, like, and you can't blame people, like, Running
No,
out of money
no, no,
before
no.
you die sucks.
Dude, I'm not demonizing either. I'm just
No, but
saying
I'm
don't
saying-
hang on too tightly.
I'm just
You gotta be
saying-
fluid.
Right.
When you're young,
Right.
you gotta know you don't know everything. You gotta admit you don't know everything, and you gotta be flexible.
have the
and you gotta be
long-term
open
vision.
to be an apprentice.
Like you can't.
Yeah.
I think it's important to realize that there are consequences of what you do now that
Definitely.
that ricochet and echo for the rest of your
And
life.
when you're old, you
So-
gotta be aware that,
right.
like,
So-
hey, you made mistakes, and you gotta let some of those go,
Right.
and admit that they're like the people behind you might have some different ideas.
I
There's
just
pros
think-
and cons to both
Totally.
sides. Of the
I just
coin.
think it's important that whenever you make decisions in life, like you got to put food on your table first, but every decision, especially if you're young, should be based on like the long term, even if it's hard to think about that because it doesn't immediately affect you. But if you make every decision in your life based on what's going to put the most money in your pocket, it's probably hurting people more than it's helping you at the expense of others. There are ways
there's
to
a balance.
there-
You don't want
there's
to
a
lust
balance.
after money.
I'm just saying you can benefit personally, but also look at the long term.
Yeah.
If you only look at the short term, it's probably going to be detrimental for like society. And if you only look at the long term, you're probably going to be poor and like hugging trees and really making a lot of impact, but like it's going to be damaging to you personally. You got to really, 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 really care.
Yeah.
So I think you got to like have an eye for the long term. You know, bring your reusable mug somewhere. Try to not throw away as much trash. Don't buy styrofoam. Like there are easy things that really don't make your life worse. That probably arguably make them better because I can fit a lot of like groceries in my reusable bags. Don't have to like carry 12 bags.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like there's small decisions that are not hard that don't hurt you personally. Maybe you got to spend a buck on a reusable bag every now and then. But that's what I'm saying. Stuff like that. You don't have to donate all your money to Greenpeace.
No. Yeah.
But like try to help more than you hurt.
As
Like
much-
leave your place cleaner. Like leave the trail cleaner than you found it, kind of thing. Leave no trace.
Just know that people are the source of all pain and happiness.
Absolutely.
It's you. It's on you, bro.
Sophocles, right? Is it Euclides?
Everyone's arguing about material shit,
Yeah.
but none of it matters.
Just go outside.
Humans are
Just
the
go
ones that
muck around.
create everything.
Just muck around in the dirt for a while.
Yeah, we
You'll-
created all these games and all these systems, and we're the bringers of all our downfalls and all our joys and everything you
Yeah.
want. It's on you.
I'm just glad they invented the wheel and that someone decided
I've
to make
drank
them out
way
of.
too much.
I'm glad they invented the wheel and decided to make them out of polyurethane and put 4 of them onto
Thank God.
a wooden plank with metal trucks.
For real.
Because that's why we're here right now.
Because
Because of a
then,
toy. We're
yeah.
here right now because of a stupid little toy.
yeah,
It's awesome.
and I like it because it's very humbling.
Yeah.
I can't ever know anything because you go on your skateboard and it's like all you know is the effort you put in
Yep.
and the results that come out. And some days you come up and some days you don't. Keeps me flexible,
that's
keeps
why-
me thinking, keeps me from knowing everything because I humble myself through just going out there and trying to push yourself.
That's
and
why I think skateboarders are such good people and such good business people. They can be if they apply themselves
yeah,
because
it can, yeah.
more than anyone else, they know how to take a slam and get back up. Like most people are terrified of failure. That's why they
Yeah.
do just boner jobs because they're so risk averse that they're like, yeah, I could do that and that could be cool, but like,
Send
but,
it.
but like it's scary. Whereas skaters are like, I'm gonna slam 28 times until I land that hard flip. I'm gonna
Yeah.
send this 10 set and like wake up bloodied and bruised, but like the willingness to get back up and try it again is a super valuable life skill. And I think if that's applied, that's like the playbook of entrepreneurship is like the willingness to fail fast and often, or to get back up, brush it off, learn from your mistakes, not repeat them, and then like do your next venture. Because like that's what skateboarding is. You gotta like learn by mistakes. You gotta trial and error, but also like be analytical. You know, try to, instead of just brute force, like try to be like, all right, that went wrong 12 times in a row. Like maybe I'm gonna start doing it a little differently. I'm gonna kick my kickflip a little bit harder. Like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever it is. But skateboarding is really fun and it's a toy, but it also, I think it teaches some really valuable stuff.
It can be very complex and very simple. It
Totally.
can be whatever you want.
Totally.
It's just a piece of wood with wheels, and our energy is what we can apply to it. And
Absolutely.
that's open to everybody, which is
Totally.
amazing.
Totally.
Well, Shay, I think we covered it all.
I think that was pretty good. You guys.
I enjoy the politics talk.
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
did
you're
too.
down for it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
super
a hard
down.
conversation to have. 'Cause
I mean,
like,
I'm sure some people find it just like it's funny reading like Jones Snowboards. I work for them and they're very environmentally friendly, and it kind of like makes me sad reading the comments when they're like, this board that just hurts the environment less, like something pretty neutral.
yeah.
People are like, why don't you keep fucking politics out of it, bro? We don't care about the earth. Like, burn it down, make everything out of plastic. And it's like, and that's not. I think you're missing the point. It's like we're just trying to like make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Little by little. You don't have to take it like just because because a skateboarder talks about politics, it doesn't make their brand trash. Just because Jones wants to make green snowboards doesn't make them stupid because you want to get in your F-250. I don't have a drink anymore. But, you know, just because you really love rolling coal in your Duramax, like, doesn't mean that that's a bad brand. And just because someone cares to think about politics doesn't mean that it reflects poorly on their company. And if anything, it should mean you should support the brands that are started and owned by people who do care. You know, obviously you do, and like
I'm trying.
that's important. So like, put your money. I bet you care more than Nike cares.
I care about skateboarding. I care about people. So and I know there's a lot of people out there. So let's do
and
this.
I care about
friends.
skateboarding. That's why I host Central Mass. It's a terrible business venture. If I pitch it to any like venture capitalist, they'd be like, "All right, give me your business plan." I'm gonna be like, "All right, I'm gonna work a few hundred. I'm gonna work like a few hundred hours per year. It's gonna be really hard. I'm gonna sleep not very much. I'm gonna stress a lot. I'm gonna have to hire like 35, 40 volunteer staff. I'm gonna probably have to pay for a lot of things for them, and then hopefully we don't lose money." And they'd be like, "All right,
Shark Tank.
hold on, walk me back here. What's our profit margin?" I'd be like, -10 last year. They'd be like, "Why are we even in this room?" I'd be like, "Look, I don't know." So it's, if it were just for the money, this would be a non-starter. So I think like we're all in it for the hope. Like the rising tide floats all ships is a super deep kind of trait for me. Like I believe that if everyone succeeds, I think there can be 30 successful skate companies, 50 successful
I think
skate events.
it'll work itself out because dude, not everybody wants to work as hard. I want to work hard. I'm driven. I'm focused. I really want to do all these things. My dreams keep me up at night. Like, and I want more people to like have that. But not everybody's like that. I think a lot of people want that, but then they get into it and they're like, whoa, I actually just want to lay on a beach.
They're like, wait, I want to go to the event. I don't want to run the event.
So I never worry about that because whenever someone comes to me and is like, yeah, I want what you have, I'm like, well, here's what it takes to get what I have, and if you're built for it, then you'll get it. If it'll take a long time, you'll work really hard, you'll build it.
And it's not like a bad thing. It's like you gotta
need
be a little
all
bit
types.
of you gotta kind of like be a, what's the word? People who like punishment, like a masochist. Glutton for punishment.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And that's good. And if you don't like that,
I'm wired this way. I don't even like. This is a gift and a curse. Like, like I dream so much at night, and like keeps me up, and I'm excited and like over. It's because the way I was brought up, with the background that I was brought up, that I've just always seen the silver lining, and always like I've always been forced to think about positive things and like try to see the positive side, and then I just started I built that into my wiring, and now I just can't stop it. And then good things start happening if you work hard, and you're like, oh, okay. Now I'm just now it's overload where you're just like, I gotta get this shit out, you know. And it's like I'm sure you feel the same way, but not everybody's built that way, and it's fine. A lot of people and I think that works itself out, and it takes all different types of people to run businesses and to do these things. Like I need people that don't want to be the fucking dude who runs the whole thing, but they want to be a part of it, and they want to share it, and they want to play a small role, or they want to do this, or it takes all types to make dreams work, you know.
And that's what so I did the Entrepreneurship Institute at Colgate was hugely valuable for me, and we had that was what kind of led into my job and had a huge impact on my trajectory. But they had Richard Branson, you know,
the Virgin Airlines, right? He was going to space.
Super successful entrepreneur.
Space travel.
Yeah, but that was his whole talk. He came and gave us our own little Entrepreneurship Institute private talk before he did a entrepreneurs weekend to the whole university. Gave a whole keynote. But he was like, man, the best thing that I learned was what I'm bad at, because I learned early on I'm dyslexic. I'm not book smart, at least not with written skills. So he's like, I'm so thankful that I realized that I was dog shit at these skills, and I hired for those. And I hired people, I accepted that I'm not going to be the best person at everything. And a lot of people who are prideful and talented and smart are under the impression I'm going to be the best at everything. I can't possibly find someone better than me. Yeah. So I just got to hire people who are maybe worse versions of me. He's like, no, I'm bad at bookkeeping, so I hired the best accountant. I'm bad at writing, so I hired the best copywriter. I'm good at these things, and I hire people to do the things that I'm bad at, and I think that's clutch.
That is clutch.
And it's hard to learn. For me, it's hard to relinquish control over certain things that I know I can do well. But it's like, man, you only got so many hours in a day, and there's definitely someone out there who could do those things better than you. Like, I'm not so prideful to think that I can do, like, I've only been running events solo because that's all I can afford to do. I can't pay someone enough to have them come along.
Yeah.
But like, man, if like now with my rep business, I'm in the process of hiring someone because it's like finally like I can pay someone and they're probably good at things that I'm bad at, and that's why I want them to work with me because like I could do my job better and I could sleep more and be happier if I have a teammate or 10 teammates or 1,000 teammates.
That's
like,
the way you get to that.
That's how you get there.
It gets past you. You know,
Totally.
you do what you can do, and you build the structure, and you work as hard as you can, and you try to gain all the skills you can, and then you get to the point where you hire some help, and then you work together.
And if you learn all those
build
things,
something bigger than yourself.
if you built it up solo, you have the time to figure out what you're good at and what you're bad at.
Yeah.
And like I know now that like I don't ever want to be an accountant. Doing bookkeeping and taxes is hard.
I know you need people that like accounting.
Yeah,
because that's not as fun.
Because that is not like it's.
Marketing's way funner.
I'm good at accounting, but I fucking hate it. Like it is so boring to me, and it's so important because like the IRS doesn't chill when it comes to accounting. So like, so you gotta try everything, like splash it around a bit, and be like, I love the marketing side. I hate the accounting side. I love selling. I hate, buying, whatever. Just like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it takes
important.
time. It takes time, man.
Taken me 10 years to figure out that the best decision was to end this event, and that's hard. It's bittersweet. It's like I wouldn't trade Central Mass for the world. Like it's changed me fundamentally as a person, but that's one of the major lessons in that entrepreneurship institute is like you got to know when to pull the plug. You got to feed your winners and starve your losers. So now I've got some new winners, and I'm gonna feed them. And Central Mass is not a loser in the wholesome sense, but it's a loser in the sense of what it takes away from my other more promising ventures and my other events. So it's like
you've gained from it, but at some point
I've
it's like
gained
you gotta
from it.
take what you gained from it
I've
and keep
gleaned
going.
what I could, and now I gotta pull the plug in a way that's really like clean and emphatic and like proud, but also like you gotta know when to call it.
Yeah,
So
10 years is a fucking hell of a run.
Yeah, man, that's a good run.
Unbelievable.
So I'm happy, and I'm sad preemptively, but I'm happy.
But we gonna do it again,
We're
my
gonna
friends.
do it real good.
One more time. Woo!
August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Coming up real short, my
Oh yeah,
friends.
absolutely.
Yeah, man. Thanks again to everybody that tuned in at YouTube Live.
Thank you to this iPhone charger cable keeping this phone alive
Crushing it.
for hours.
Thank you to all the Spotify, iTunes
See if
people
there's any
out there.
farewells to give. Thanks for people who had really insightful stuff. Daily Show. You suggested a bunch more stuff that we could probably talk about for 10
Politics
hours.
will take us 5 hours.
But basically, like, yeah.
And I only talk about it because Mike's an adult and I don't hang out with many adults.
Right, yeah. But like, yeah, student debt and like local voting and all that is extremely important. If we had 3 more hours in a political podcast, we could definitely dive that open.
I'm a dumbass.
But I'm glad we talked about it. And thank you, Simon and Rob Perry and Daily Show and Pat B.
So many people in there.
And there's someone who was also Low Tide Lumber Co. Thank you guys all for chiming in and being insightful and caring and sticking with us for this long haul. I know it's been a long podcast.
One more time before you go, just let them know where to find all the Central Mass stuff because we're going to be there and I'd like to see you guys and hang out with you guys and maybe get in the vlogs and let's get it big this year.
So, most important is the website skatecentralma.com. That's really important because it has all of our social links, it has the schedule, all the important tools are on there. Like you can find everything that we do from that website.
SkateCentralMA.com.
Yep. But then there's also Central Mass Skate Festival on Facebook and Instagram.
Skate Central on Instagram?
Yes, Central Mass Skate Festival
Central Mass.
is the Instagram handle. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/SkateCentralMA. I can type these all up for you.
Yeah, you're going to have to. I'm too.
But the most important one is just SkateCentralMA.com because it has links to all the social channels and all that stuff. It has the promo video. It has the sponsors, all that. But yeah, we'll type it all up. We'll put it in the description, in the overtext and all that. And I really appreciate you having me here, and I'm stoked to work with you, man. You're the homie.
You're going to help the New England Amateur?
Yes, I'm down.
Let's
November.
keep going. We don't have a hard date yet, but I'll have it soon. But it's going to be early November.
Dope.
First week, second week. Working on it.
First week's probably better because second to third week is when our sales meetings start in Europe. So,
good to know.
But I am interested.
Usually it's the first week. So.
Yeah. Super interested. I love New England Am.
I just have to confirm with the skate park, but we're
Cool.
good. But Mike.
Luckily, it's a skate park. You don't have to pull any permits.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Yes. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys out there listening, and keep shredding, my friends.
Keep shredding. We'll see you in August.
All I need.
Catch you there.
Stop that one. Damn, almost 240 right
Dude,
there. And it cut
and
out
on
a
this
little.
side, yeah. I think we're pretty long there.
YouTube, let's see where we're at. 172.
172 minutes?
Yeah, 3 hours.
3 hours. Well, bye, all.
Peace.